thought you just said something
We're-
else.
Attempting to load up tabletop.
I will be back momentarily.
I'll be back.
Days, hours. What? Is my computer trying to tell me? Oh, yeah, it's gone. Never mind.
Now I'm hoping it won't happen, but there is some stuff that I've got tonight, and I might have to call the session a little bit early, just an FYI. But I don't think it's gonna come to pass, so we should be good.
No worries. You
Didn't
do what you gotta do.
Actually, didn't you have to get off early anyways? This week?
She
think
said
she
she's
left.
cooking. But yeah, she has to be up by like 6 in the morning.
Oh yeah. Do
So
we
she
have?
gets a full 5.5 hours of sleep? What's the big deal?
And then she works for 12 with people with dementia and Alzheimer's. It's great.
Perfect.
It's
Well,
great.
dementia just means you can clock out sooner.
That
They
like
don't
it.
know.
Yee.
I
As
feel
the
like
day
that
goes
really
on,
explains
the
her
worse it
personality.
Oh
gets.
my
Clocked
God.
out sooner,
Holy crap!
we'd have people roaming the streets.
Exactly.
Holy
You know.
shit.
At that point, if they're
Oh.
outside your facility, it's not your problem. Legally, it's not your problem.
Oh no, it's my problem, and I could lose my license. That's how it goes.
I don't know. I looked into it for you, and I'm pretty sure you're okay.
Oh.
So my
Right.
tabletop or my Discord froze for a second, and then it came back and everybody was talking, but it was like really sped up and kind of freaky.
You know what my favorite part about you is? You narrate everything that happens to you, but like, it's so great. Who was that?
Meh.
Intruder.
Somebody who wanted to join and leave.
Alright. Fucking talk about that.
Language.
Don't want to create.
They don't know.
Hey, I might have to start learning French here in a little bit.
No, not in Toronto. They're such fucking heathens over there. They know nothing.
They have
I don't
what,
know,
like a
my-
10% like French rate over there or whatever.
My
Dude,
boss has such a thick French accent. It's ridiculous.
Oh, you want to impress him?
Hey, Connor, I'm gonna need the report for tomorrow, okay? If you can, yeah, you give me a call, and yeah, we'll
so
work.
accurate.
We'll
Holy
work.
shit.
We'll work something out there, okay?
The worst part is that I find that endearing. Like when I hear people talk like that, I just automatically associate them with family, and they just get. It's the weirdest thing.
The little fuzzy feeling in your stomach.
Yeah, even if the content of it is complete garbage, which usually is. So, well, we're all here. I think we're good to go. Does anyone need a minute?
Could I have just like one more minute or two?
Yeah.
Cool.
Stop pooping.
Hey,
He
Jason.
can't poop with my mic.
Yeah.
Where did
Yeah.
you get posted out of Quebec? Did you end up in like Gagetown or Borden or?
No, so for the reserves, I did Valcartier, and I did Farnham.
Okay.
So I never. No, Gagetown is considered okay. I had some buddies go out to Alberta, and they said it was the worst fucking thing that ever happened to them in their life. They said they were so bored that one of the female troopers let 5 dudes run a train on her in a bush outside of the barracks. just, oh, classic army, 100%.
Just to
No,
kill the
me,
time.
Yeah, I just had some fun time in Valcartier where it's -1, raining, and you have to, you know, fucking work in operational silence, so you're trying to like trip over sticks finding your fucking little tent. Doesn't work out very well. I'm so happy I'm out. Oh my god. What brings the question up? Do you have some buddies out there?
Oh, I was just curious where you ended up.
Yeah, as a reservist, you never really posted, right? So, like, you go home during the week and all that. You have weekends or a long week of training. And then you have usually your summer, which is just fucktown. But other than that, yeah.
That does sound horrendously boring, though.
It's the worst. If I went combat engineers, which was my original plan, it would have been more fun, but the thing about combat engineers is it's 2 summers for qualification rather than 1, so I said fuck that.
Wait, are you a Mountie? What are we talking about here? Is that what you call them? You laugh. Look at this. See, I don't even need to set myself up. I just set him up perfect.
Oh,
It's whatever I say. It's just
fuck.
How dreadfully
apparently
American.
comical.
Well, because it's like, it's the most typically ignorant American thing to say, which makes me laugh every time.
Yeah, well, I mean...
Oh, you
sorry.
served. You're a Mountie, right? No, I'm laughing, so don't worry about it.
Well, okay, so...
I
was
thought
wondering
it
if
snowed
was, like,
everywhere up there.
Shut up. So, I thought it was like...
Way up there.
It sounds like it's similar to the American military, right? Where you have a summer of basic training and then you go like every month for a weekend or whatever.
Yeah, so we do like Tuesday nights, and then every second, third, or fourth weekend we have a training exercise, and if there's like a local flood or something, we're posted. I say we're posted, but fuck that, I'm out. Yeah, so the Mounties, oddly enough, are kind of like our FBI. They're like, it's the RCMP, right? So they're like the notch above police. They're kind of like the federal police.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, when you see those fuckheads in red with the big ass hats riding horses, they're not to be fucked with. These guys are no joke.
They're very
The
subtle.
training selection is ridiculous.
Just a heads up. I'm good to go. In 45 minutes or so, do you mind if I ask if we take a break?
Sure.
We've got one of our friends here, and he's heading off to back to Afghanistan, Albania, wherever the fuck you're from, Vietnam.
Insert name of sandy place with oil.
So yeah, we're gonna give him a little bit of dinner to go, but he's gonna leave here in 45 minutes. So if we can get like 5 minutes to say our goodbyes and shit.
Okay, no worries. I was thinking of what Jason said. I was like, are you gonna run a train on him with 5 guys? Sorry. Okay. I'm mentally ill.
Yes.
Alright, well, we're all good to go. Let's see here.
Breaded chicken sounds good though.
Oh, you bet.
Okay, there we go. It's gonna take a fucking minute to load, as it always does. There it is. Welcome back to another game of Skyfall 5e. How was the week, guys? It's good to have you back.
Amazing.
Excellent.
Amazing.
Anything exciting happen?
I got my fridge and stove, so I'm no longer cooking like a Kardashian.
I was unaware that they cooked.
They
Yeah.
don't. That's my point. I'm eating out of like tins and fucking paper bags and shit. But now the cooking game is back.
Wow. Well, congratulations.
Got my new job pretty much with that Canadian company, so
Nice, nice.
Congratulations. Welcome to the winning side.
Oh yeah.
We have poutine and things.
I can't wait to
Weed.
make a trip up there.
Weed. Well, all that good news aside, you guys do have a session here. You guys left off with a very poor sleuthy attempt to go through Mr. Chow's house, so we might as well pick up there and see what you guys find. The last thing I remember was a certain spell being cast through a scroll and the discovery of a hidden passageway underneath the bottom stairs.
Indeed.
Currently, Annabelle is taking a nap inside of the box, and the rest of you guys are kind of just milling about the place. What do you want to do?
I don't think we know that he cast that yet. I'm upstairs still, probably rummaging through the office.
I mean, I said I was gonna do it, but after that happened, I'm gonna scurry upstairs.
We've
Guys,
got a crowd outside.
Yeah, and I just used the scroll. There's a secret entrance down underneath the stairs in the basement.
In the basement, like shoot a glare over at Arillo.
I'm not. That crowd outside looked like they were aiming to come in soon.
Well,
So, if you guys wanted to jump all in the puzzle box, I've got one more spell left. Turn invisible and just scurry down there real quick.
I'll look to the others.
Or we could all just go, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think we should keep that spell for a last resort.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't use it. I just until I knew that they were coming in. But yeah, let's. All right, then let's just go. Just try and be quiet.
Well, with Annie not in the scene anymore, I think we'll be okay.
Okay. Then let's go. Follow me.
As I clink clonk with my plate armor.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I resent that.
You should. You definitely should.
You're taking a nap. Shush.
Oh,
So.
You guys travel down the stairs and eventually get to that spot. Emerging into the basement below, there's no evidence of any kind of passageway here, except a moment later, as you guys are kind of holding the flame and looking about, you do see what looks like a portion underneath the stairs that has almost like less dust on it.
Can I take a look at that and see if there's any sort of like secret buttons or anything like that?
Sure.
Some sort of hidden mechanism.
Make for me an investigation check, please.
That would be a 24.
God damn.
Okay. It does not actually take you too long to find what you're looking for once you're down here. One of the panels here, which couldn't be depressed unless you were looking for it because of its place under the stairs, you put your hand down on it and it actually presses down a little bit. And when it does, you hear like a satisfying click, and the floor starts to sort of shift for a second. A few moments later, and a stairway going downwards is produced underneath the stairway that you're already under.
Hey, everybody, quick. Get in there.
I'll nod. Clink clonk.
With...
In we go.
Is there dust like all over the floor in the basement, or is it just like a dirt floor basement?
It is a stone floor basement, and there's dust more or less everywhere.
Okay, so are like there obvious tracks kind of pointing towards where we went?
Things are pretty kicked up down here, so not really.
Okay, all right, then
Yeah.
I'll just head down. Not worry about
It looks kind of like somebody was down here oafishly milling about.
it. All right, then yeah, I'll head in as well.
Okay.
Is there any way we can close the staircase
Ah.
after we go in?
Mm-hmm.
When you
So
go
that's-
down, the staircase
doesn't
ends in a much smaller room than the one that you guys were in before. And it's maybe like 15 by 15 feet. And it's pretty cramped. As far as what to do with the staircase, you see what looks like an obvious lever next to it, though whether or not it activates the staircase or not, who knows. The room seems to be a small little study of some kind. There's a table with a few like random pieces of paper and what looks to be shelves that are more or less empty. and the containers that are on them, like glass jars and little metallic boxes and such, are all missing their contents, leaving just bits of residue, if anything.
I'm getting odd vibes, like same vibes from this as the vampire holdout in the Underdark.
Do I get a rumbling of a past life in my jimmies?
There's probably a rumbling of some sort as you get down here. Now, I would like set up perception checks from the group, please. Not Annie, though, since you're taking a nap.
Oof, shafted.
She's in the puzzle box. You shafted yourself.
Oh, you played yourself.
What?
Oh shit.
16.
Yo,
Ew.
I just rolled the fuego.
Okay. Off in the distance, Kalik, you hear something. It sounds like up the steps that you've just uncovered. Oh, you would hear this as well then, Edgar. The two of you hear that up the steps, and not even in the basement, but another floor upwards, what sounds like a tapping, and you realize that somebody is knocking on the door.
Nuh-uh.
It's just like that it happens.
Guys, they're knocking at the door.
Can I snap to my owl?
Sure. When you do so, something odd happens, and your connection appears to be severed. You're unable to reach it.
I think I might be able to help here, actually, guys. And I'll clink-clonk away.
Sure.
I'll go upstairs and go to the front door.
Okay.
And I'm gonna turn on my my big dick Metri charm
Okay.
and open it super casually.
Okay. I'd like you to roll luck, please.
Sure.
They stab us in the tip.
Oh, that's me.
Oh wait, do I roll luck or is it like a table roll?
It doesn't matter. But you already
Okay.
rolled it, so we'll take this.
11.
On the outside there, you see two people. It looks like a couple of townsfolk. And the one who's tapping on the door, he looks at you. He seems to be a middle-aged man of some sort. And when he looks at you, there's a brief moment of confusion that visibly flashes across his face. And he says, "Oh, is everything okay in there? We heard noises from outside."
Do you live around here?
He nods, and he kind of like points down the road. It's tough to see because of how dark it is out there, but he says, "Yeah, that's my house right there."
I'll pull out a piece of paper with a pen. And your name?
He says, "Wait a minute. What?"
Well, we're conducting an investigation, actually. There was a missing person report for a student of, well, this here resident. And we're conducting a search. It was supposed to be kind of below the radar since we don't want to raise any alarm. This person may be innocent, but we were told there might be clues here. So,
Wait,
if there are any
Mr.
witnesses...
Chow wouldn't have anything to do with that.
Well, we have reason to believe that he has motive, and that one of his students was responsible for quite a large party and being quite disruptive in class went missing right around the same time Chow did. So, while I understand your concern, citizen, we do have to check any and all leads.
Can you make a persuasion roll?
I can.
Damn.
Ooh.
Oh, baby!
Terrifying demon squeal.
That's a 26.
26. He looks over towards his companion there, another man of similar age, and he kind of, shrugs and nods, and then the guy looks back to you and he says, "Oh, okay. Well, there were some people who knew, so if you're trying to be undercover, I mean, there was quite a racket."
Right, I do apologize. As you might imagine, investigators aren't exactly knaves or thieves. So I do apologize if we drew attention, but we really are trying to make sure that Mr. Chow doesn't have his name tarnished for any unsubstantiated claims. So, you know, we'll do our best to keep it down. And if you don't see his name in the paper, that means that we haven't found anything, which should be good news.
He nods. He says, "Oh, okay. Well, I'll leave you to your work then."
Thank you. Thank you. Take care.
And the two of them turn around and walk away.
Never got his name.
Like Edgar does like a saunter through the living room.
I do the Fortnite floss dance as like a celebration.
Like bathrobe type dance moves.
I just close the door and with like a smugness to myself, I'll go back downstairs.
Okay.
Because I didn't even really lie, which is great.
Now you guys have been down here for a bit. What are you doing?
I think I'd just be hanging out real quick.
Just waiting for Edgar.
Waiting for Edgar to get back.
With
Okay,
with
sure,
the new
that's
room,
alright.
I'd be ritual casting detect magic once again,
Okay.
just under the staircase.
There's a minute or two that goes by where you can hear what sounds like talk way up in the house. The floor above you might be stone, but the rest of the house is wood, and Edgar's voice kind of resonates a bit, and it sounds like he's talking to some people whose voices you don't really recognize. And after a little bit, the door closes, and you hear heavy armor coming through, and soon Edgar returns.
Is everything alright up there?
Yeah, oddly enough, I just kind of told the truth, and they seem to be all right with it. I was just saying that, you know, Mr. Chow had motive, and there was a missing person that coincided with his disappearance, and we were looking into it, and they seemed to buy it. So, I think we'll be okay.
You know, that's the second time today that the truth has gotten us out of trouble.
I'm telling you guys,
It's so successful.
if we stay true to the law, and we're not starting to abuse things, and I am getting that bed back from Annabelle, by the way.
I hold up my hands and just shake my head, just like
I'm
have nothing
pointing
to do with
directly at him. I'm pointing directly at Kalik. Like, you know I'm gonna need your help on this. I think that Metri will guide us to the right conclusion and not have anyone be in our way.
Great.
Anyone good, anyways.
I start scouring the room. Just looking for anything important.
Okay. There's a main table here, and on the table you see there's a slight mess of sorts. You see like a little bit of like a dashed blue powder on one corner of the table, as well as like a stain of some kind. And you also see like some balled up papers and a couple of like loose sheets of parchment as well. There's a small box that seems to have stationery in it, and there's a bunch of things missing from it. The whole room that you're in looks like it's been more or less ransacked, though not so violently, just hastily. The cupboards, or not cupboards, but the shelves on the side wall here have what looks like containers for different alchemical ingredients, and they too have been like raided. There's a whole bunch of sections on the shelving where there's little dusty spots where there was once a container, and other containers that have been left here have been more or less emptied.
Does it look like more so that someone was trying to get out in a hurry, or is it more someone just wasn't careful in gathering evidence? Like, do I think Mr. Chow may
You can
have...
make an insight roll, trying into it, looking around.
Now, with insight rolls, do the earrings proc for that?
Yes, I think so. That's for any insight roll.
Cool. Oh, double 17. 19.
By the fantastically gay powers of your earrings, you think that you think that this room was just left in a hurry without any care. Not that somebody came through here with malicious intent.
I
The
think
way
he's
that,
trying to get out of here in a hurry.
Yeah, the way that things are left here, like, you can see objects that could have easily been, like, smashed or something if that were the case, but everything is, you know, just kind of nudged out of the way and whatnot. Nothing too bad.
I'll
And you feel the
resume
warm
my
breath
spell.
of Gem breathing on your neck.
Is there anything to the stuff on the table, or is it just like random papers and things?
Well, the papers, some of them are empty, but others have writing on them. And you do see one thing, which is curious. There's a, like a little... it's like a little shiny object underneath one of them as you're kind of moving through the papers. And you see what looks like a small key.
Does anything around here look like it might use a key?
Sure. Yeah, make an
Or have a
investigation
lock?
roll. See what you can find.
It's 18.
Okay. The table here has a singular compartment to it. It's a very sort of thin shelf at the bottom. And at first it looks like a normal handle, but you see a very small slit there that fits for the key.
I'll open it up.
Okay. Inside, you find a single item. There is a scroll rack that has been built into this little shelf. So as you pull it out, you can see a bunch of half-circle indents where you could put down, like scroll-sized objects.
Mm-hmm.
All of them are empty, but there's a single scroll left there.
Can I take a look at it? See
Sure.
what it is?
You're able to read the thing, and it looks like a scroll of teleportation, though to exactly where, you'll need an Arcana check to find out.
Girl.
You also notice that there is a small tag on it on the side, which is labeled duplicate.
Well, I will make that Arcana check.
Sure.
Oh,
Oh no.
it's a natural one.
Okay. You know that this teleport scroll is not one where you give it coordinates. It goes somewhere in particular, but you're unable to tell where it goes.
Okay.
It's difficult to read the script here.
Yes.
There's moon runes everywhere.
Well, perhaps the only useful thing in here would be this scroll here. It's not one that you can just say choose to go somewhere. It takes you to a specific place, and it says that it's a duplicate of something, but I can't for the life of me figure out where it goes. I don't know if you want to take a look at it, Kalik. I know you're casting your spell when you're done.
I'll hold up a finger, kind of like, just one moment, and I'll keep
Sure.
going.
So you finish your detect magic spell there, and I would like a luck roll from you, please, or the group, or whoever. Go for it, Annie.
Actually,
It's the only roll you're gonna
Oh,
make since you're in the
no.
box. Until Edgar comes to steal
Should
the
I
mattress.
throw it off the table?
no.
Oh, okay.
Heathens do that.
Well,
I should have threw it off.
off the table. See,
Okay.
what would it have been?
Your detect much
oh, well,
better.
it's not much better. Okay.
Your detect magic spell picks up the scroll that Tidge has picked up. It's evidently not a fake. But the rest of the items here, there's nothing magical about it. Though, curiously, you do sense that there's like a shell around this room almost, and you're unable to really pick out what it is, which school, but you can tell there's a magical force that surrounds you in this little box-shaped room under the basement.
Huh. Could I try to... I'll pass that info along. I'll say... Well, other than the, that scroll there, the only other trace of magic I can sense is the... It's weird. It's sort of like an aura kind of around the room. I can't really tell what it is, but... Maybe it's to prevent scrying, or some protection for this little area.
That'd be my guess, because you didn't pick it up earlier, right? You just found that one instrument.
No, I didn't. I took a walk around the house and...
Can I send out a divine sense when he says that? I mean, there's not
Sure.
much I can contribute, but
You sense nothing.
okay.
Must be some sort of shield from divination magic or something.
Perhaps.
would be my guess.
Oh. Interesting. I'll try to switch my view with my owl.
Sure, you're unable to do so.
I'll kind of shake my head.
Am I allowed to?
My forehead. I can't. I could swear nothing happened to my familiar. I haven't sensed it.
Yeah, I couldn't.
couldn't- Maybe
couldn't
it's
use mine either.
maybe this magic kind of blocks that sense.
Sort of like an anti-magic shell in a sense.
More or less, but we're still able to cast things down here. It's
True.
maybe it just prevents it from passing through.
Just a wall.
Yeah.
Hey, just quick table talk. Well, your detect magic would detect if my armor was magic, right? I've been curious and it just
It would be able to, and your armor is not magic.
right.
Feels bad.
No,
It is swaggin', but yeah,
It's it's swole plate. Are you kidding me?
swole plate.
I'll I'll let the detect magic pass,
Sure.
and I'll put up my hand towards the scroll, and I'll start ritual casting Identify if Taja will let me.
Ah, okay.
I'll give it right to you. While he's doing that, I'll take a look at the amulet.
The amulet. Okay. You can see that the amulet here has some messages in it. What was the last thing that you remember?
That would be... Light Killer says they're on a secret mission
Ah.
to beware of snakes.
There have been no new messages.
Okay.
Nobody has said anything. It's been silent for some time.
No new messages in the necklace.
Now, are you guys doing anything during the 10 minutes here that an investigation, or sorry, was it Identify spell is taking place?
I'm good.
I'd try and snap my owl onto like my shoulder or something if possible.
Okay. You are unable to do so.
I'll just wait then, I guess.
Okay. The scroll here, when the 10 minutes is up, you grab a hold of it and identify it, and you know where it goes. It leads across the realms, strangely enough. You're not given a name for where it goes to, only a rough sort of idea that pictures into your mind, and you know that it goes to somewhere in this jungle.
Oh boy,
Oh shit.
that's a long way away.
Who
Oh,
currently has the map?
I don't know.
Tidge, can I see the map, please?
Sure, here you go.
I'll kind of furrow my forehead, think, and I'll focus in on that region, and I'll point to it. The scroll leads somewhere here, nowhere specific, but well, I can't tell. There's no way of possibly knowing.
Have you guys ever read anything about the Labyrinth Jungle? Because that doesn't sound like a fun place.
You guys can make history rolls if you have
Yeah.
it.
I'm actually
dude.
proficient in history. Can I roll?
Mhm.
Maybe I came across it in my stupid noble.
11 for me.
Okay.
19.
19.
Oh, 20. No, 22.
Okay.
Oh.
Beats us both.
Kalik, you know a little bit about the jungle. Granted, this is lore for a different realm, so it's, kind of distant compared to Skyfall. But you've heard that it gets its name because of the vast number of adventurers that have gotten lost in the place. And in fact, the consensus is that it hides a bunch of old mysteries which are perhaps not to be found, or maybe the jungle has a life of its own. Nobody really knows, but the ability to get lost in the thing is legendary. Edgar, you would know the same from your studies as well, but you also know a little bit more, which is that the prolific inability to travel through the jungle is so bad that the city of Steelwind has tried to make roads through the jungle multiple times, and then the roads get derailed, and every time they have to stop.
God damn. Yeah, so, here's the thing. If having the scroll is great, but if Chow is on a legitimate endeavor somewhere and isn't part of this kind of, or these evil machinations, then we can find ourselves shit out of luck. I mean, as you know, Kay, like, people die there just from not being able to get out.
We have no guarantee that we'll be able to get back, but it might be the only lead we have.
Now,
I'll hand the scroll back to Titch, by the way.
sure. There is one other thing I forgot to mention, which you would know, Edgar, and this is just rumors, but it's said that the expedition teams and the people that have to travel through here always bring with them scouts, Tabaxi scouts from Mesmer, because they're the only ones that can navigate through the jungles. And how they do it, nobody knows.
Any idea how much one of those scouts might cost?
I wouldn't have the slightest idea. But they have this kind of innate ability to navigate those jungles where, I mean, even natives of Keswyn can't, so I mean, let's get out of here. Let's get what we need and leave. That way we're not, you know, pondering our next moves for the next 6 months in the basement of someone who we're really breaking and entering. So, let's get what we need and move, but it's definitely something we'll need to discuss further.
Sure, yeah, I'm all for getting out of here. We've gotten everything we need.
You guys don't want to help yourself to the sweet alchemical ingredients?
Are
Well,
there
that's
any?
kind of what
I thought they were all gone.
What kind of things would we recognize?
Looking around, no, there isn't really anything for alchemical ingredients. I
Not
would
really an
say,
alchemist anyways.
I would say you probably find a charge of ingredients for making a familiar. That'd be a common thing. So one of you guys could take that if you want to. Though
You
that would be
take that.
stealing, so...
Titch, without Edgar, if he's like looking away or focused on something, I'll kind of nudge him and point.
I don't know, I rolled a 21 on perception, man. I don't know, maybe I get to re-roll
Oh,
that
I
and
would
we'll
still
fuck
attempt
up.
it.
You're percepting other things.
Am I?
Yes.
We'll let Aleutian decide that. I'm down with that, but...
I think you should take it. I mean, you just paid for my last one, pretty much.
Yeah,
Half
but
of it
you
anyways.
burn through them so much quicker than I do.
That's true. I'm a bit reckless with my fake companion. To be honest, I'm surprised he keeps coming back. Hey, I'll just grab it, I guess.
It's gonna go bad anyways. It's gonna expire if we don't take it.
Do I see?
It's a waste.
Do I see what's happening?
Make a stealth check, please, Tidge.
Okay.
Edgar, you hear what sounds like an object moving down there in the room while you're halfway up the steps.
I immediately, I just kind of shake my head because I kind of assume what's happening. I've been on high alert this entire time, and I go back down and I look at the two boys.
Okay. Now, Tidge, as you pick up this small little metallic tin that has the necessary ingredients, you notice a small piece of paper under it. And in decent handwriting it says, "I hate boat rides through the storm wall, no less." And then the piece of paper ends as like a bit of it has been ripped off.
Is there anything on the other side of it, or is it just that?
No, it seems to be it.
Strange. Seems that.
Is
So
there?
it'll just be the piece of paper you're taking then?
Huh? Yeah. Here, take a look at this. It's like, just like flip it in my pocket.
Can I insight check his rambling?
Yeah, he's like motioning the piece of paper towards you, while with his free hand he's like shoving something into his backpack.
I'm putting my hand on his shoulder. Tidge, it's bad enough we're taking a scroll of teleportation worth God knows how much.
See, the strange thing is that I don't know why he wouldn't just use it. Like, why would he take a boat through the storm wall?
I think you're deflecting my question here.
Maybe it did say duplicate.
Hey, you don't help him on this
That's true, I suppose.
one. Tidge, please. Look, Paladin of Metri has ordained this invasion of privacy, and we're taking the goddamn teleportation scroll, and I'm not going to be cleaning the bed that Annie is currently sleeping on when I put it back upstairs, so I'm pretty much at my wit's end in terms of what
Wow.
I'm willing to tolerate.
Cleaning the bed. Great. Like I'm some filthy animal.
You were
Cough,
tied
cough,
to a post
tieflings
one
cough.
The racism here is pretty high. Edgar.
God, what was that, a crow?
No, just the dying pigeon.
Nice. Alright, Tidge, put it back, please.
Whatever, fine.
Or
Roll my
put
eyes
down.
instead of-
How much does it cost?
Oh, I just don't even worry about it.
No,
It's
but
fine.
if
I'll just
we
put it down and
if-
walk away.
If we compensate the man, I look to Kalik as Tidge walks away. How much is that worth?
5 gold. Really bad lie.
I cast Mage Hand and I grab it and go around behind it.
Do I catch that too?
Of course you fucking would. You got a 21.
I mean, I don't know if that's what I'm using right now as perception.
You can make
Tidge!
another stealth roll.
Okay, go ahead.
Seven, 13.
Yeah, Titch puts it back, but then you hear another noise and look to see a spectral hand moving it back towards him again.
Tidge!
Now,
10
whatever,
gold.
let's just go.
Right.
Arillo, are you alive? Oh no.
Yes.
Standing there
Yes, I
drooling.
am.
Okay. Can you
He's
make
just
a
swinging like a broom in the sky, waiting to swing his axe in this game right now.
Can you make a perception roll for me, please?
Of course, he rolls it to the one obstacle. God, it's funny.
It's 8 plus this is perception.
Mm-hmm.
10.
Okay. What are you doing in the room right now?
I am kind of just listening to them ramble on about
Sure.
everything.
Are you interested in their ramblings?
Not particularly. I'm just picking out a couple words here and there.
Okay.
I'm just interested in where we're going.
Alright, Kalik, if you put down 10 gold, take the ingredients. I'm assuming it's double. I'm assuming he lied and he gave it at half.
I don't have 10 gold. I spent my last 10 gold to get him ingredients for this spell.
You sad sacks of shit.
Welfare Wednesday.
I'll shake my head. I'll put down 10 gold. And I'll just nudge the ingredients over to Kalik.
Okay. So Tidge doesn't even get them in the end?
Well, I mean, what Kalik does with them, it's up to him.
I know, it's just like
I'll
he was
hold
one
on to
taking
them.
it, so you're like, you pay for it, here you go.
I'll hold on to him, and as soon as Edgar turns around or like is out of earshot, I'll put him in Tidge's pocket.
Sure.
I'm like in the basement at this point.
Did you guys
At least.
take that piece of paper, by the way, or did you leave it?
Yeah, I guess I have it.
Okay.
If Tage would show me, I would do a second search, like below the desk, like behind it, to see if there's another ripped portion of that.
Oh, well, there's ripped paper like all over the desk.
Oh shit! I would start going to town, start reading through them.
Sure. You grab a piece of paper, and it's like the other one where it's like the message is ripped partway. And it says, one of the groups is missing, vanished, says the angel, and then it just cuts off.
Can I lay them all out, like, on the table, and try to, like, match them up, see if any,
Oh,
like,
sure.
play a matching game?
You lay them out and try and do so, and you find that some pieces you're able to put together, forming more complete sentences, but other portions are just missing the other bits, like somebody like tore it up and maybe got rid of it. The more that you go through this too, you also notice that some of them have like vague suggestions of charring on some ends. It's like somebody just hastily went to get rid of these and then just left what was left over. You do see things that are relevant, though. Like, you find another one made of 3 pieces that says, "It's been a long time since I've heard from a June. Maybe they finally got him. I might have to use the spell."
I'm definitely keeping the mattress now.
Somewhere in a
I'll,
different dimension, Anna decides, nope, no one's taking this from me.
I'll not shout, but I'll speak up and ask for Edgar to come back down if he left the room.
Sure.
I'll-
I would still be around.
Okay, I point out this connection.
My hand slowly reaches over to the 10 gold and pockets it.
A not
Alright.
so spectral hand takes the gold.
I'll look up to Edgar and say, "Leave nothing behind."
I shake my head, ashamed, and I walk away, taking nothing.
So, it does sound like he was working with a June.
I mean, it looks like it. You see a whole bunch of different notes. You can take stock of them if you wish, but you see another one that says,
Take them all.
"A few thousand gold here and there, still the great souls live. Perhaps I have to take care of them myself. Though if Celestine is right, I'll have no easy task of it."
I'll hold this up right in front of Tidge.
I'm upstairs. I walked away.
You turn around and the little one's gone.
Tidge!
Oh, Jesus, I wince.
You hear shouting from down the steps, Tidge, as you're in the basement.
What?
I put the paper in his hand and looked
Tidge,
at.
you're
looked at
handed
him.
4 scraps of paper.
What am I to make of this? Which one is it? What does it say?
You rearrange them here, and it says, "A few thousand gold here and there, still the great souls live. Perhaps I have to take care of them myself. Though if Celestine is right, I'll have no easy task of it."
Celestine. They mentioned that in the
And-
last message.
And I hand him the other note mentioning a June.
Oh-ho!
It's
Better
all
not
connected.
Better not steal from an evil person, eh?
Eh?
Sure wouldn't want to do that.
I give you
Despite
the
how
components if
helpful
I
it
haven't
might
already.
be. Huh? Oh,
Like-
okay.
Yep.
That table over there is awfully devoid of gold.
You didn't see me put it down.
You said tons of stuff about paying for it. Gosh.
Well, I set out saying that if we established a connection, we could use whatever funds are here and whatever ingredients. Now that we've established that connection, it's fine. Kalik took your ingredients, by the way, And just to stir the pot, since I'm getting fucking shit on here, I'll just do that and I'll walk away.
Okay.
I'll start. Like, are there just everything like glass jars and things like that, or are
Yeah,
there any
glass
kind of,
jars, little metallic
solid metal
tins.
things? If I'll just like look under, I guess, everything. Take a couple minutes and see
Sure.
if there's any other random scraps of crap anywhere.
You're able to find a couple of things here and there. There's like a small scrap that's fallen to the side over by the foot of one of the shelving units, and a couple that are near like the bottom of the staircase. You're able to put together a few more messages. You find one that says, Ajun will take care of the librarian. He's already taken most of his temples by fire. That meddlesome aspirant will soon be off my tails. And then it says, in another one after that, I suspect our friend is up to something. He's not the only one that can scry.
Oh my god.
There's
My
there's
God.
2 messages left that you guys are able to put together from all the pieces. You find one that says, I'm off to the portal. It's time I focus on the ritual now that the ingredients are all gathered up. Getting that golden relic was a nightmare, and I hate jungles. And then the last one says, Reed says his demons have captured a full group, though I'm not sure I believe him.
Hey, well, couple of ominous things here, but most of all, this one right here that says they've got all the ingredients that they need. They've got, or at least for some sort of ritual. I'm assuming it's got to be the one that we're trying to. Well, we weren't trying to stop, I guess, anymore. They've got something going on. I don't know if it's to create this fiend engine or
No,
what.
the fiend engine. If they said they have the materials already for the ritual, could you assume that they've already completed the fiend engine?
Do I know what? Well, the thing is that the golden idol doesn't really mean. Oh, unless that's the. No, it's not really a crystal. Would I know if the idol is part of like the? Nobody really knows anything about fiend engines, right? Like the components to be made into it.
Make for me a straight intelligence check, DC 10, to recall something.
10.
that was a little bit close, friendo. You remember that one of the you remember there were like 3 sets of ingredients that were asked for that were really important from what was there back in the study in the puzzle box, right? But there were other mentions as other groups have ideas of what to do with the ritual, right? So there are foreign elements that could be added to the formula to change the end result. And you actually recall one of them, which says, how would it have been labeled? One of them would be called a superior weapon of sharpened gold. And when you recall that, it makes you wonder if that is indeed what's being talked about.
So I probably don't remember if it said anything about what the result of the ritual would be if that were used. Since I got like just a 10.
I would say, yeah, you're not familiar with how that changes the ritual, but it looks like Chow has decided to get it, even though it's an optional version.
Okay. No, it looks like rather than it's just that this idol, which I'm assuming is this this sharpened gold weapon, is an alternative ingredient to the ritual. Can't quite recall how it changes the result, but I know that it does in some way. Probably be a good idea to get in there and scan through those notes again. See if I can find something. But he's involved, but it seems times. I guess they're just waiting. I would assume.
Sounds like, yeah, they're just waiting for the right time. This eclipse.
Yeah, or that's what it is, right? It's an eclipse.
Mm-hmm.
Edgar, do you think there would be some merit to take this information now to the Eldritch Inquisition, or no? Now that we've proven that this man is
Yeah, I see your point. Here's the thing, I don't want to give you the wrong impression. All I know about the Eldritch Inquisition and the Tower is what a noble would know living on the outskirts of Solsden. We know their ways can be heavy-handed and often brutal, but if you were to ask me what their motivations would be or their intent, I have no idea. It seemed that the headmaster said the Inquisition was already ready to investigate this with what little information we had, so I'm sure we could unleash them at any time we want.
Before you finish, Edgar, you do remember one thing, which is that if you tell them truthfully how you got this information, you would almost certainly have your entire group spend time in jail.
Why is that?
Because you broke into Chow's house and the Inquisition would still lock you up, even though you found something useful.
Oh, well, I was assuming we only give the information from Hillcrest and then just fill in the blanks.
Yeah, I'm saying, like, if you were to reveal that what you guys were doing this evening, yeah.
That would be no bueno. I got you.
There's really nothing.
Yeah, so I mean, we still have the notebook, or rather the information from Hillcrest, to send them off at any time. And at least now with, hearsay, it's not exactly like we can divulge that we were breaking and entering on their turf, but if we were to tell them of a location or a place where we thought Chow might have gone, we could point them in the right direction like a bloodhound. Whether or not we want to handle this ourselves or let the Inquisition take care of it is up to the group, but like I said, we need to get off premises immediately and discuss these kinds of things as a group in a safe place. So
I agree.
Blitz through the investigation, do whatever you guys need to do, and get the hell out of here.
I don't think he would have hid anything like these incriminating notes anywhere else in his house if he had protective measures like that magic field. So I don't think we'll find anything else
I think we've
elsewhere.
While you guys are down here in the room and holding onto these pieces of papers, looking at these pieces of paper which are on the table, you hear what sounds like a pair of footsteps up above in the house.
What do you suppose happened?
I'll see if I can go take care of that. That's unusual. And I'll go upstairs. Hello? As I'm walking upstairs.
The footsteps stop immediately when you call out.
I keep walking with my hand on my sword.
Okay.
And I'll go all the way upstairs and try to see if I can find where those were coming from.
Sure.
I'll go to the bottom of the basement stairs.
Can you make a wisdom saving throw for me, please, Edgar?
Yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm.
Not good, but I do get to add 3, and my wisdom is decent. Oh wow, I'm proficient. So 12 plus 3, that's a 15.
A 15. Okay.
Yeah, I have plus. Oh no. The 8 is already including my 3. Sorry. It is a 12.
Okay. You are traveling upwards into the basement and going for the next set of stairs, and right when you turn and look up the stairwell there, you think you see a pair of silhouettes, or maybe more than a pair, and the moment that happens, you just suddenly freeze in place, taken by magic, and can't move. And I would say, Tidge, from your place on the stairs, you hear what sounds like a piece of metal falling to the ground. And do you realize that it's Edgar's sword?
Oh sorry, my hand would have been on the hilt, but I wouldn't have drawn yet.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Yeah, sorry.
Can I see Edgar at all?
Sure. When you turn and look
Yeah.
around from the top of the steps there, you see what looks like his lower half headed up the stairs, and he's just standing there.
Is there? So he's on the stairs going up to the ground floor,
Mm-hmm.
right? All right. Can I get into a spot where I can see without being seen? Can I hide in the shadows and see if I can see up the stairs at all?
I would say not really.
No.
You could make a stealth check if you want to move forward into the dark basement. That's up to you. But there's not
Yeah.
much for cover here other than the steps and trying to look up them.
Yeah, I guess I'll just try and creep. I'll I'll send a message down to Kalik.
Okay.
And something's going on with Edgar. He's just stopped still. I'm guessing by some sort of magic. And then I'll creep forward
Sure.
and
I'll tap on
just
Arilla's
slowly and check it out.
arm. But you might have to pick up Edgar here in a moment. Be ready.
All right.
Just a 7 on stealth, so
Okay.
just kind of slowly creeping along, probably along the staircase, the side of the staircase.
Okay. You get to the side of the staircase there and move as slowly as you can, trying to be silent. When you feel something, and it's like a cold metallic point that presses against your neck, and you hear a whisper that says, "Don't move."
Can I snap my owl to the corner of the
Sure.
room and see who's behind me?
Oh, you see nothing there. But you can certainly feel what must be like a cold steel or something pressed against your neck, but you don't see anything there with the owl.
All right. I'll freeze. Oh wait. Shit, where is it?
Now you can hear what sounds like very silent footsteps coming down the stairwell.
Yes, I will just freeze there
Where
for the moment.
Okay.
I'm watching up, do I see him stop?
Yeah, you see you see Tidge go over towards the steps, and then he just stops.
Does it look like a similar thing?
No, it looks like he's still breathing and whatnot, and everything seems more or less normal. It's not like Edgar, where it's like a supernatural frozen almost.
Kayla, would you like me to go grab Edgar?
1 second. Tidge!
I will. Shit.
Appropriate.
Message.
Drops a big deuce.
Oh, it's everything. Fuck. I'll just kind of. All right. I'm not moving. Would you care to show yourself?
The voice
Or-
whispers again and says, "In time." And then there's a pause there, and you hear a different voice, which is also rather silent, but it says, "Tell the others to lay down their weapons."
I only warned us 3 times to get the fuck out, but we didn't do it. We didn't do it.
I'm all for cooperating, but there's a big angry guy down there who's not gonna be so cooperative if he doesn't at least know that we're gonna be okay afterwards. So, what's going on? Just got my hands up, trying to be unthreatening.
Do what you have to do to get him to drop his weapons, because you're all under arrest, and we won't hesitate to lay you down if we have to.
Okay. May I walk downstairs?
Go.
Alright, I'll go downstairs.
Okay.
I think we've been found by the Inquisition. Or at least somebody.
Nobody ever expects it.
Now, Edgar, I would like you to please make a wisdom saving throw again.
Sure. Oof, 1 billion.
Okay. You break out from this magical freezing, your muscles becoming your own, and it happens just as you feel like something metallic click around one of your wrists, just like chink, and you can hear the sound of like manacles being set onto there. You've heard it like 1,000 times.
I don't really. Well, I'll shoot out a divine sense first.
You don't notice anything.
So I'll assume it's the police, and I will not resist in any way, shape, or form.
Okay.
But I will stay quiet.
You're shackled here, and you hear a whisper, and you hear somebody who says, "Hands behind your back. You're under arrest."
I put them behind my back.
Okay. Your hands are shackled, and somebody leads you down towards the bottom there, and though you can't see them, you can hear like subtle sounds of like breathing and footsteps around you, as there must be like a group that surrounds you. Tough to tell their exact numbers, but probably not much more than a small squad. And you're standing there with them, wherever they may be in their positions, at the top of the hidden staircase. And Tidge, you're down there talking to the other two.
I don't think that it's worth it all trying to resist it all. We've got to assume that there's somebody down here with us that we just can't see. So
I'm gonna think about invisibility,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna cast Dispel Magic on the area right around us.
You cast Dispel Magic, the spell goes off normally, and nothing seems to happen. You don't think that there's anybody invisible in here with you.
Caleb.
They're not down here.
okay, that's good, but they know that we're down here. And if
Orilla whispers subtly into your ear, Kalik.
I'm like panicking. Yes, yes, Arillo.
I can rage, and then it'll become foggy down here. Nobody will see us. And then we can grab our friends and go. I mean, I may attack, but if you keep me from doing so, then maybe it would work.
not sure
Just
force is gonna be the best
1
option.
second. I'm gonna cast Thaumaturgy and shout up the stairs.
Okay.
Who goes there?
A voice returns back, not as loud as yours, but you hear somebody who calls down and says, "It's the Inquisition. You're under arrest. Come up with your arms at your side, no weapons drawn, and you won't be harmed before being thrown in the dungeon."
Okay, look, they're gonna harm us when we do throw us into the dungeon. We can't go.
Outstanding.
And our friend that you already have?
He's shackled right now, and you feel somebody kind of nudge you, Edgar. And he says, "Go on, tell them. Convince them to come up."
Why?
Because if you don't, we're gonna have to use force.
No one is resisting in any way, shape, or form right now. As you can tell, we're not exactly criminals. Well, not your typical ones anyways, I suppose. Look, shackles are unnecessary. Let me go and coax them in, but if they see me shackled, it might alarm them.
You can feel a hand that's grabbed a hold of your arm there, and somebody kind of like pulls it back a bit, and he says, "No, you're not going anywhere." And then another voice calls down the stairs and says, "We're gonna give you 10 seconds to get up here, and if you don't, we're gonna be coming down."
Alright, guys, come on up.
Gaelic, should we kill them?
I'll look to Arillo. And I'll shake my head, no.
Okay.
We'll comply. If you give us, one thing.
What do you
If
want?
you let us... We'd like there to be a hearing for one of the members in your tower, a Mr. Chow. We have evidence to support a case against him.
One of them calls down and says, "We figured as much. There will be a hearing, but that does not excuse your crimes."
I don't have any fancy ideas to get us out of here.
I'll look down at the scroll that you have at your side.
It's a little too fancy.
The scroll practically shimmers there.
Would table talk? Would I know if the scroll were to be cast? When we choose like who goes like through the teleport, can they be like within the same room, or do we have to be holding hands, or what's the technicality for that?
You have to be within 5 feet of the people who are going with.
Okay. I'll
I mean, we could get up there.
You hear a voice that calls down and says, "Alright, your time's up. We're coming down."
We're coming up. We're coming up.
Gaelic, should I enter the box?
It's not gonna help much.
You hear what sounds like steel being drawn and faint magical noises.
I'll just start walking towards the stairs.
Okay.
And I'll have my hands up,
I'll follow Gaelic.
and I'll say, Arillo, stay calm, and I'll walk up.
Are you going up there, Tidge?
Yeah.
Okay. When you guys get up there, you only see Edgar, but around him, there's like a faint sort of distortion, as though there must be something else there. And you can also hear the sounds as though a small group is at the top of the stairs as well. And When you get up to the top of the stairs there, Kalik, you can feel like a sort of pinprick pressed against your chest. Not really like enough to hurt, but you know there must be like a sword or a spear that's being pointed at you. And one of them says, "Do you have any weapons?"
I'll kind of look down at my firearms.
When you look down at them, you see that somebody grabs them and takes them from you.
Gently, please.
One of them whispers, but you can hear him as there's no other sounds in the basement here, and everything kind of echoes a bit, and says, probably contraband. Hands behind your back.
I'll do so.
Okay. You put your hands behind your back, disarmed here, and manacles are put there, and you're pushed next to Edgar. Arillo, you get to the top of the stairs and see what looks like your two party members here with their hands bound behind their back. There's like a floating pair of pistols as well, just kind of hanging there in the air.
What is happening?
Arillo, it's gonna be okay. Just step forward. You can't see them, but they're here.
Hands behind your back, big guy.
What?
You're under arrest.
Alright. Grudgingly, I'll put my hands behind my back.
Okay. You are shackled here as well and pushed over. And Tidge, as you come up, what do you want to do?
Just surrender, I suppose.
I can hear you giggling to yourself.
No, there's no plan behind this. It's just accept what's coming.
Hands behind your back, one of them calls.
They're just already there.
Yeah, okay.
I heard you. Said it like 6 times.
If I whispered to Kalik, would they be able to hear me?
Potentially. You could do a stealth roll.
My stealth is pretty decent.
Go for it.
Alright.
Not one incoming.
Well, I didn't roll very high.
Fucking 8s, dude. 10.
Okay. What do you whisper to him?
Kalik, I think I can get out of these.
Yes! I can get out of these cuffs. You can't get out of those cuffs, sir.
I'll just look up at him and smile and just be like, "I'm sure you could." And I'll just shake my head.
I'm serious, Kalik. I think I can do it.
I'm sure you could. Please don't.
When all of you are finally cuffed here, Tidge, you being the last straw, the invisibility fades, and you see what looks like a group of, there's 5 people here, and they're all wearing what looks like a combination of, like, chainmail or chain shirts with, like, robes on, and they have blades and maces, as well as magical focuses in their hands, and, you see the telltale emblem of the Eldritch Inquisition there.
Well, at least you're not a crack squad of hitmen. That's fortunate, I suppose.
He looks at you and says, "You're a cynical one. Are you the merry leader of this group?"
Not sure as we actually have a chosen leader, but I suppose.
When you say that, somebody kind of like snickers and says, "That explains a few things."
The hell is that supposed to?
You see one of the members coughing and another chuckling.
Oh. Big guys.
I'll kind of just whisper to, not whisper, but I'll mention to the person holding my arm specifically.
Mm-hmm.
I would like the privileges and how can I say it? Sorry. I would like the privileges that befits my position and my family and my name as soon as possible. Then I'll look back forward.
Are we to
He
start
he
this
looks at
parade?
you and he kind of nods and he says, "Nobility, huh? Interesting to see you here. Your kind don't usually get their own hands dirty."
Yeah, well, I'm also a paladin of Metri, and I'm sure this will be resolved in no time at all.
He kind of narrows his eyes and he says, "Family name?"
Lyle. Edgar.
He nods and then turns to another member there. And Kalik, you see, and Tidge, you would recognize this as well, that one of them casts a sending spell. And then he kind of pauses for a second after murmuring a bit and staring off. And then he kind of looks back and he whispers into the ear of one of the other ones. And one of them looks at you, Edgar, and says, "We know of you.
Excellent.
Your father's already placed a request to have you put into his custody."
Sure he has, and that'll be another conversation we have, but the sooner we can get out of this place and start giving you all the information you need, the better. Our time is very sensitive, and I understand that we've been stomping around in your turf, and that might seem as a slight to you, and for that you have my sincerest apologies, but if we can hasten and get back to the tower and sort this out as quickly as possible, I'm sure we'd all appreciate it. We don't want to waste your time.
Okay. One of them nods, and then another turns to you and says, "You're aware of the punishment for misuse of magic, yes?"
What magic was used? I asked that just as a question.
We've seen use of familiar spells, as well as some other minor magics.
Very well. Well, we'll have that conversation, certainly. But yes, I am aware.
Alright. Come with me. And one of them turns and they start to kind of head up the stairs here. There's two behind you and two in front as they lead up.
No problem.
How long have we been in the house?
Like hours, I feel.
Probably a little while. I mean, since you began, maybe... probably about, like, 30 minutes to an hour.
Just because my... Well, then my familiar's technically probably still invisible.
Mm-hmm.
So what... I guess maybe the first time I put it in.
I mean, this is the
What's-
Inquisition. They can detect whatever. Just table talk wise, but...
Sure, I'm not that familiar with them. What sort of misuse of familiars are you talking about?
We've seen them. Been
Oh.
scouting the house since you guys made such a racket. Using them as scouts so that you can break in. There's a detection of some other magics that were used in here. We have the school, but not the exact spell as of right now. Though the investigation might turn up what that was. The severity of your jail time will definitely be related.
I'll speak up just so everyone can hear me. Everyone, just so we're on the same page. These spells were used because there were traps. Well, traps that we might have anticipated based on the people that Chow associates with, okay? So, before the Eldritch Inquisition starts asking you about intent, just make it very clear that it was for our own safety.
We can place that in the report. We'll see how the judge rules.
Anyways, I'm just... I know nothing's gonna get done in this room right now, so I'm just waiting for them to move me.
Okay. You guys are led up the stairs into the main room. Are you guys going to be carted off to the tower without incident?
I'll ask one more question.
Sure.
What of those of us that didn't cast any spells? And I'll kind of motion towards Arillo.
He'll likely get out before the rest of you. Or be spared the chopping block at least.
Kalik, what's happening?
with that, I wouldn't say another word.
Okay. Do you guys go along quietly?
I would be 100%. I'm a paladin after all.
I would be pretty torn, but I'd be following Edgar's lead.
Okay. You guys are carted off, and how long do we have till you need your break there, Kalik?
Would we mind taking it now?
Sure. We'll
Nice
be back in 10 or 20 minutes here, and take off from there as you guys are carted down the streets.
Perfect.
Oh.
BRB.
making some cookies.
Man, when we were getting arrested, I was choking on a pretzel.
Good call, man.
I like downed my cup of coffee because I couldn't fucking breathe.
Nice. While your brother was just here, like casually playing D&D.
Yep. Well, there's 3 doors closed between us, so you know.
What?
Oh, I was choking on a pretzel when we were getting arrested.
Fun.
By the way, you want some pretzels?
No, thank you though.
Okay. If you had said they took my weapons, I probably would have enraged. Or
They will
been
be
really
taking
close
your
to it.
weapons, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, they will.
They took your weapons.
Oh, those sons of bitches.
Are you gonna rage out of those cuffs?
I was thinking about it.
I think you should do it.
I was thinking about when we get into the cell, and he's like,
Says the DM,
bust
hungry
out
for
of it.
death.
Wait, I gotta get the
you know,
clip.
until there's nobody around, and then just bust out of our cell, destroy the bars.
I can break these cuffs. You can't break those cuffs.
Existence is pie.
Here we
We
go.
could do the Jackie Chan thing where we pee on a t-shirt and use it to bend bars in Shanghai Noon.
I forgot about that.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, officer. I'm sorry. Stay right there.
It's been a while since I've seen this.
Stand up straight. What is wrong with you? Take a deep breath. It'll be all right. Take a deep breath. I can break these cuffs. You can't break those cuffs. We appreciate your cooperation.
Sorry.
I have to check this out in a second.
It's exactly what you think it is.
For some reason, I oft forget that he's like a midget or whatever in the clip. It's like the one detail I always forget. And that's like the most noteworthy part of the whole thing.
Looks like fucking Flava Flav.
Is Flava Flav really short?
I feel like he is.
It's just the clock.
His clock would be a lot smaller if he was tall, right?
I don't know. Could just be a big ass clock, I guess.
Whoa. Earl is pissed. Here, gotta give him that.
Who the fuck is Earl?
Everybody hates him.
See that? I hope they take like 10 more minutes so my cookies are done. Fuck me. You're in the
That's a great clip.
You can't break those cuffs.
You can't break those cups.
I just love how calm he is about it. I can break these cuffs. You can't break those cuffs.
Imagine if he snapped them and just ran off across the highway. So fucking outstanding.
Yeah, you just hear one of the camera crew like, shit, he broke those cuffs.
Oh shit.
The fucked up thing is I'm pretty sure that Arillo could break those cuffs.
Yo, tell me
Yeah,
there's a Super Saiyan edit of this video.
Oh, there's probably tons of
Please.
remixes. I'm not gonna click on them right now, but
Oh, please.
Bubber ducky, bubber ducky, bubber duck.
You're just an endless fountain of memes.
I have an illness.
Yes.
The dark's taking over.
My God.
Almost done. Sorry.
No.
No, take your time. I'm baking cookies.
Oh shit.
Yeah, we want you to take a little bit longer. Give him an extra special goodbye.
Oh, he just left.
Extra special on your knees and a mouthful goodbye.
Fuck.
Grapefruit technique.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking exactly.
I showed that video to my girlfriend. She was like, "Oh my god, does that work?" And I was like, "I don't know. You think I've ever handed a grapefruit to one of my exes?"
You should have been just straight up like slyly look at her and just smile.
Like pulling out from behind my back at that exact moment. Oh no.
This is stupid. I just found there was one of those side up next things, and it gave me an I Can Break These Cuffs remix. It's so stupid. I posted in shit poster. I can break these cuffs.
I love how shorts are just pants for him.
Yeah.
This is only mildly relevant, but you might enjoy it.
Catch me in the club eating barbecue.
Are you for real making cookies? Is he seriously making them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I wanted to make cookies too.
I didn't even notice that.
Oh God, please stop.
Did he not mute or what?
Holy shit, I'm going deaf.
He really goes all out. So what? Oh yes.
Holy shit.
You didn't even know you're dead. God damn it!
Stop! You're scaring me. Here, let me check out my cookies.
You've been gnomed. I hate that now. That happened to me so many times this week.
Or somebody sent you a gnomed video?
That gnomed. I'm not a gnelf. I'm not a gnoblin. I'm a gnome.
Oh boy, they're almost ready. Oh
If they're not
baby.
made from scratch, they don't count.
They're not made from scratch, and fuck your apple canning ass. How's that?
Ooh. Spicy.
It's that Pillsbury 90% sugar shit. And guess
Great.
what? I love it.
Ashley clutches her pearls in face of such heathenism.
But all he would
My
need.
stars.
But my lord.
Oh
How
my God.
dare you.
How dare you? I just don't understand how you could just go about your day without eating a regular cookie. You gotta eat them fake ones all the time. You're
Skyfall 5e is rated R. I like to picture that his dog is just sitting there in the corner looking like worried at him.
No, last I checked, he was on my couch licking his own asshole, so he's okay.
Oh, that's great.
He's a
Licking
clean
his own
boy.
asshole. Bah!
He's a clean boy.
Oh, Connor, you know I might need an egg.
Would
Oh,
you like
one
an egg
large
at these trying
egg.
times?
You can't just give me an egg? Me either.
What is this guy
They took them
making
all.
with chocolate? This is crazy.
It was the cancer.
Ah! Ah, you scared me.
So Edgar,
Yeah,
what's prison
up?
like?
I've never been. I'm too rich.
Pidge?
Shades descend slowly.
What?
What's prison like?
Oh. It's marvelous.
I've never lost an expedition group in my life. What are you talking about?
Never been to prison before.
I've never been
Flashback.
caught.
We're going to cities. Have people.
Oh god.
Aurelio?
Hmm?
What's prison like?
I don't know. I'm only in there for about a day. And I break out.
And I break out.
Dave's gonna kill
I
me.
can break these cops.
Why are we what prison's like? You already know. We were in prison. Well, a dungeon, I guess.
That wasn't prison.
Well, the wilds were.
You were in there for like 2 hours.
They put us and they fed us.
It felt like prison.
You went to like the super rich white collar prison.
What prison?
Like the next day you would have been let out into the yard to play tennis and shit.
We can start, but I gotta like step away real quick in 5 to 6 minutes.
How long do those cookies take? Oh, how long do we have?
He's making a couple batches because they only take about 6 to 8 minutes to cook. Don't you know, there?
I'm only making two cookies.
What
Two
the
cookies.
fuck?
Two
Why
large
did it take
cookies.
so long?
12 bricks?
I don't know. I mean, they're in an oven, and the oven has to heat up, and then when it's heating up, it's gotta cook the dough.
Oh!
Whoa. You put it in before it's preheated?
Oh,
No.
100%. I break the laws of preheat.
Shame on you.
Can you do anything right?
No wonder your cookies take so long. You put it in there before it's preheated.
The amount of time would be the same, whether or not I
No.
put it in. I mean, if you look at it on a time scale, if I start the oven on preheat at, let's say, 10:20.
On next
And I
episode of
preheat-
Men in the Kitchen. Yeah, I haven't washed this pan in 12 years. Well, you don't need to. It loses flavor.
Is that wrong? Why are we laughing?
No, cast iron you don't really wash with soap, but you rinse it out, scrub it, don't you?
Of course, and then you oil it afterwards because you're not a
bet.
savage.
So,
You mean you don't want it rusty?
how long do we have tonight? Because I know that you have work early in the morning there, Ashley, and I think some other people had some stuff going on.
Oh, I don't care how long we go. Just torture me.
Rip.
All night.
Okay.
Torture me with
All
that good
night
time.
long, all night,
Oh, night.
all night, all night long, all night.
Oh, that's a good song.
Shit.
I really want to listen to that now.
All night long, all night, whoa.
I had Hall & Oates Out of Touch stuck in my head the other day,
outstanding.
and I just listened to it on repeat for like
Yo,
48 hours.
put on Dance Hall Days. That's what you need to hear right now.
I need to stop. That music's too addicting.
No, Wang Chung is the next level after Hall & Oates.
Everybody Wing Chun tonight.
Everybody Wang Chung tonight.
I was worried no one would finish it. Okay. Well, we're all good to go then. In a couple minutes, Edgar will step away. Are you guys ready for an exciting episode of Jail?
Yeah, I'm in a box, wondering when I'm gonna come out.
Okay.
I got a butt flap in my plate just for this moment.
Okay. So let's see here. Let us return to the story at hand. You guys are being carted through the streets, and right before you guys actually get out onto the streets. So when you're still in Mr. Chow's living room, you are gradually disarmed as the group pats you down and takes whatever weapons you guys have. Now, at some point, while you guys are being disarmed, nobody's doing anything, right?
I'm not.
Who has the puzzle box on them?
I do.
Okay.
Ooh-wee.
Going through your stuff, when one of them is traveling around in your backpack here, which is placed on the table, like, 10 feet away from you, one of them pulls out the thing. And he looks at it for a second. I'm going to make a roll.
Please.
He like looks at it for a sec, and you notice that his gaze falls on it in a way that shows just how much of his attention has been focused on the thing. And then he kind of snaps out of it and looks away and puts the cloth over it. And he says, "You're gonna want to see this," and turns over towards another one of the members, and he comes over and looks down at the thing, goes, "My God." And then they call back to you, and one of them says, "Where did you get this?"
Well, do you want the short answer or the long answer?
We have time.
Okay, well, we were in a different plane of existence where Death was imprisoned by a machine, I suppose, called Defender-1, who was linked to a binding spell created by a June, who was imprisoning Death to resurrect himself whenever he was struck down, so he can proceed with his world-ending plan. Once we decide... Sorry, go ahead.
You can confirm that with Bar Jarger in Seba.
That's right. So after we convinced Defender-1 to change his moral and ethical point of view to not defend a June and instead release Death, we did so, releasing the aspect of Death, gaining access to this puzzle box, which had all of the literature necessary to convince Defender-1 in the first place, and we've been using it ever since to store goods and refer to any documentation as need be. We had another one before. It was destroyed by Bar Jarger in Seba because it went to a plane of fire controlled by a June where, I guess, souls were being fed into a well and undead were spawning out of it. I think that answers about everything, right, guys?
The different members of the Inquisition look at each other like, what the fuck? And, Edgar, I'd like you to make a persuasion roll, please.
Sure. Oh, please! Please roll high! Oh, shit. That one.
Oh,
No.
That's a pretty
Yeah.
tall tale.
I can cast Zone of Truth if you'd like.
That's fine, there'll be plenty of that later. Well, confiscate it. Might as well. And,
Full disclosure, by the way, if you solve it, one of our companions is in there resting right now.
one of them looks over and narrows his eyes. And, says, who?
Her name is Annabelle. She's a companion of ours. She's a tiefling like Kalik. There's also the corpse of said robot Defender-1. Now, you'll see right away that I'm not a thief nor a liar. You can tell by the fracas that we caused and my frankness to you now. Quite frankly, time is short, and I feel like this is all a waste of time, because I'm sure we'll all come to the same conclusion, whether it's now or in...
Well, you're on our time now, so you can just wait. You two, into the box. Go ahead and apprehend her. And they kind of nod, and a moment later, the two of them pop through. Now, Annabelle, you've been laying on the mattress there to get a nap, and you are suddenly awoken to the magical sounds of somebody entering into the puzzle box.
I don't recognize them, yeah?
No, when you kind of wake up hearing footsteps suddenly land on the ground, you look over and see what looks like... They look like two like knights or something, right? They have like chainmail and robes on with weapons and all that.
Is this some kind of joke? Edgar!
One of them immediately just says, "You're under arrest. Drop your weapons." And he points like a mace towards your collection of daggers and whatnot.
Right there, like if I'm taking a nap, I'm gonna be totally honest, I do not have any of that on me. It's like next to me.
Oh, okay. In that case, they would just point the mace at you and say, "Are you armed?"
I am not armed. What's this on about?
Your group's been arrested for breaking and entering into Mr. Chow's house. We believe you to be an accomplice.
I've been in here the whole time.
They kind of look at each other, and I'd like you to make a persuasion roll.
Oh, you bet. Come on, baby.
Here we go!
That one.
Oh!
The opposite.
One of them kind of pauses and he looks at the other and he says, maybe the report was wrong. And the other one looks at you and says, well, in any case, you're under arrest, at least for the time being, until your name can be cleared.
Yeah, that's just great. Can't expect them to do much of anything now, can I? Just sitting around here in this puzzle box, waiting for myself to get rid of a hangover. Just hand him my hands.
Okay. You
Do you
are...
want to borrow mine, or do you want to use yours?
He cuffs you, and then one of them goes through the box, leaving just the two of you, and he hands you the box that you can finish it. And he says, well, go on.
How do I know you're not gonna take anything when I leave?
He looks around, and he says, all this is confiscated. We're probably going to take everything.
Fair enough. And she mumbles as she does the box.
Okay.
Right, you're calling everybody else a thief. Just taking everybody's shit.
You show up there, find the rest of your group all standing around, cuffed up, and you're kind of pushed into the rest of them there. You guys see Annie appear. She looks like she's a little bit better rested, but still reeks of booze, and her hands are cuffed as she's, pushed into the rest of your group. Do you guys say anything at all?
Just like staring at the floor.
Okay, I guess not.
As they're like carting us off, I'll say, full disclosure, I was fully prepared to come with this information to you guys beforehand.
That would have been a smart move, one of them says.
Yeah,
says,
and you'll find out in the zone of truth.
If you had any of this information beforehand, without having committed a crime, we might have done all of this without you having to go to jail.
Sure.
Well, there's no going back in time. And one of them looks over and says, Captain, they're all disarmed. We can move. And the other one kind of nods there and finishes kind of rummaging about through your backpack. Do any of you have anything particularly incriminating, like illicit substances or body parts? You know what I mean? Like anything weird in the inventories?
I have the Life of Briff, which is that rare text that's been... I don't know if...
Oh, a contraband text. That's true.
Is it contraband? Apparently.
Oh, is it just... You just wrote rare?
Yeah, well, you said it was like... I don't know. It was an embarrassing expose, and they...
Oh, they had... Yeah, okay. Yep. I remember now. Okay. So you have that. Does anybody else have anything?
I have the teleportation scroll.
Okay.
Read this for me.
Don't we have a June's? No, we don't. We don't, right? His little neck
Piece
flap.
The skin tag.
Ugh.
No.
No, we got rid of that?
I think we gave it to Jeff or something.
Mm-hmm. Does anybody have anything else?
I have a gold tassel.
Okay.
And then a brown bear headdress that I made out of the grizzly bear's head that I cut off and then took along with me.
Okay.
That's gotta be so rotten by now.
Yeah.
I turned it into a headdress.
You didn't tan it. You just have rotting bear flesh.
I don't know. I just have the counterspell scroll, tarot cards, anti-scrying necklace.
Okay.
Philosopher's Cabin book.
How about you, Annabelle?
My
Anything
holy
illicit?
symbol.
I've got a bag of marbles from a June's house. I don't know what happened to that ruby I tossed on the table. It was glass anyway. And
I think that went to one of the college students or something.
Pretty sure I have a health potion left.
The mask. Don't lie, you.
Oh my god, you have the mask.
Oh, yeah, and then I have the mask.
Okay.
I also have like the librarian's pen. I mean, I'm wearing the holy symbol and stuff like that. I don't know if they would.
They
take
probably
any
would
of
have
that.
left the pen on you.
Good. Flip shit.
And Edgar, you don't have anything?
No, clean as a whistle.
Clean as a whistle.
What about the that other necklace, the message necklace?
Oh, yeah, I have that too.
Okay. They have not taken off the jewelry that you guys have. You know, your clothes and trinkets are all there, but basically your backpacks and weapons have been taken. And as they go through it, it seems that the puzzle box is the first big, like, a couple of your books are taken out and looked over. And then the next one is the mask, which is pulled out. And when one of them pulls out the mask, he looks at it and says, "Where did you get this?"
Oh, right, that. Well, there's this creepy little dummy things that we found in the forest, and I just ripped it right off his face. He went poof afterwards, but I got a mask. I thought it'd be neat. You know.
They were hunting us.
We did not think it would be neat.
I thought it would be neat.
I was dead.
Right. Those two were dead.
One of them nods and just says, "Alright, Exhibit C." And he just, like, puts it into a different bag. And then they keep
Do you
going
want
through your
it?
stuff. He says, "Yes, we'll be taking this."
Is it worth anything?
He says, "Well, not anymore."
Perfect.
Okay. He gets up from the couch there and says, "I've seen what I need to see. We're going now." And with that, one of them opens the door, and the cold night air rushes in, and you guys are carted outside. Now, as you guys are brought outside, you do pass by a couple of faces here on the nighttime streets who look over to see, you know, four adventurers being carted out and carried off by the Inquisition. But apart from that, nothing else really happens. You are gradually brought over to the tower, and when you guys get up to the tower, the guards allow you past, and the Inquisition members bring you right up into that main room, and they have you step onto the teleportation circle. Now, when you guys are done stepping onto the teleportation circle, you find that you're not in some headmaster's room like you did before, or, you know, one of the halls, but instead just appear directly into what looks to be your own small holding cell, with what looks like a couple of bedrolls in the corner and a few buckets in the other, and that's it. And just like a large, like, wood and metallic door, and there's nothing. There's no windows or anything.
Are we in our own separate ones, or?
Nope, you're all in the same cell.
I would
Okay.
find myself in a small corner and pray to Metri.
Okay.
Just gonna sit down somewhere. Casper, are we still manacled?
Let's see here. You are mysteriously no longer manacled.
I'll try, probably in vain, to cast Prestidigitation just to clean up a little spot,
Sure.
and then sit down.
When you go to cast your magical spell, nothing happens.
Surprise there. Just kick
I-
some out of the way. And...
I would probably cast like thaumaturgy to like make a whistle louder just to test it.
Yep, that too fails. The space that you're in at first felt eerie, but now you can tell why, and when you guys try to cast, you know that you're in a null magic zone.
Not surprised there.
Sure cover all their bases. Of course, that's pretty much the first thing you want to make sure of, I suppose.
Now,
Oh, this is. That's
sorry.
fine.
The room that you're in is a simple stone room with the buckets and the cots over in the corner, and you can hear sounds that come from the other side of the door. What must be like other cellmates. Sometimes you hear people yelling insults and things like that in the hall, and other times like weird bestial noises. But that's about it.
I'm gonna
What
walk up.
happened after I went into the box?
Whoa,
Oh.
That was interesting.
potato.
Yeah.
Jesus, that was loud.
Sorry. She was asking if she sounded like a potato.
Yeah,
Exactly like
Yep.
a potato.
like a ham radio potato.
Alright, so what happened after I went into a box?
Well, we discovered a secret compartment and got a bunch of evidence we needed incriminating Chow. But we stood around contemplating about our next moves for, well, it felt like 20 minutes too long, and the Inquisition found us.
Well, that's just perfect now, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm confident that we're going to be able to, I don't know about talking our way out of it, but at least possibly justifying our actions. I mean, between our connection with Barjarger, who can confirm about Ajun, our knowledge of Ajun's palace north of Seba, our destruction of a spirit in Hillcrest, and the mirror, we have enough of a case to be able to, I believe, justify why we did what we did. The only question is how long it takes and whether or not they're even interested in fact-checking, which I've known the Inquisition to be thorough, so I have high hopes.
Edgar, I have to admit, part of me, a moment, I contemplated using that teleport scroll to take everyone else. And I'm sorry, it would have left you.
That's okay. You didn't act on the urge. You don't need to apologize.
Just the thought of it. I don't know.
I mean,
It felt like a betrayal already, just...
there are larger things at work than just my life, and unfortunately we don't know how long this will set us back, so if anything, I think it was the right thought, even possibly the right decision to make, but I don't hold anything against you. I know there's good in you more than bad, so...
We were far too reckless.
Mm-hmm. A lot of lessons to be learned, for sure. Seems like most of our problems were, you know, handled with a sword or magic or some kind of enemy. It's one of the first times where, at least with my direct involvement, we ventured onto the wrong side of the law. This will just be a process, and I think we all just have to accept that at this point. We don't want to fight the Inquisition, there's no fighting them at all, so let's just present the facts as is. There won't be need for persuasion or deception if we just state everything as it was. The beauty is none of us have really had any ill intent throughout our entire time venturing together. Short of Tidge having some sticky fingers, as does Annabelle here, but nothing that that would bring us onto the, well, to the opposition of the Inquisition. So with their zones of truth and everything else, If we just tell the truth, I think the worst that we'll get is crime for trespassing and maybe abuse of magic, but those might be reduced if we call in all our chits and favors.
As you finish the line there, you all hear something in the corner of the room. There's the sound of a metallic slide, rusty and well in need of oil. A small opening, light comes through a little rectangle in the door, and something falls through, landing onto the floor. Then it's closed.
Interesting. Anyone want to take a look?
I'll walk over and inspect it.
You find a collection of 2 packages. The first one is a simple folded up piece of paper, and the other one looks like a collection of 5 scrolls that have been tied together with a string.
Cool. If this is jam, I swear to God, my dick will be hard.
So what's the first one?
The first one appears to be a note to your group. It's a sentencing, and it says, to the inmates of cell like 1-17, your sentence, as it stands at the moment, lasts for 45 days. And it says underneath that, as great souls, you will be, your days spent in the prison will be recorded and tallied up until it reaches the total number. And it says the investigations into your crimes are still currently pending, and the time may be increased or decreased depending on further information. Included here are 5 scrolls for your statements. Do not lie, there is no use in it. Please provide whatever facts you believe relevant to the case.
I'll read that out loud.
Okay. The moment that you finish saying that, there's another slide, and you see what looks like another little one of these folded pieces of paper that drop down.
I'll go ahead and pick that one up too.
Okay. You see that it says, your sentence has been increased 5 days for the theft of a mattress.
I'll read that out loud, and I'll just glare at Annie.
That was me.
I'll just be closing my eyes and shaking my head.
Right, but it was a comfortable mattress. I've never slept on anything more.
At this point, my thumb and index
my
are
life.
just pinching my nose, just the bridge of my nose,
Edgar,
just
you
like,
don't understand. You probably slept on one of those every day of your life.
Yep, but I bought it. Well, someone did.
Oh, rub it in a little more, why don't you?
Silver spoon.
Yeah, right up the ass.
So
Look.
begins the infighting.
What I find interesting is why the hell would they allow us to write our statements together? Seems a bit bizarre. You'd want to separate us to highlight any inconsistencies, if any, but whatever.
Well, it is the Inquisition. I don't think these are normal scrolls.
Maybe not, but like I said, we have no reason to lie. Then I'll go pick up one scroll and... Is there like a pen attached? Like, how does it work?
Within the little package there, you can see that there have been a couple of small quills and some ink there provided.
So I'll just take it and go to the corner and lay it up to the wall and just start writing.
Sure. Now you can put at least, a few sentences, a few paragraphs or whatever. Do you just put more or less what you said, Edgar, or do you add anything else?
I put more or less what I said, certainly, yeah. What would I add, if anything?
Yeah.
I would add that we didn't want to circumvent the Inquisition, but rather confirm these facts and see what information we could find before resorting to them, because we didn't know if Chow was a criminal. And to justify this, because for them they'll just say, well, you should have came to us anyways, I'll try to tie in the fact that every time we've included people in positions of power, and I'll mention Oris Ren, there's either been corruption or downright murders of the people cooperating with us.
Okay.
So it was not only to maintain the well-being of the Inquisition, but also investigate these facts without endangering anybody.
Okay. So that's your account, and let's go for something, a tonal change. Aurilla, what do you write onto yours?
It's like a picture of a T-Rex or something eating
Breaking out of a house.
with like backwards R's and shit. Or, like,
Aurilla, are you there? I think your mic's muted.
Just choking on
Yes.
pretzels again.
What do you write
No,
on
I
yours?
was gonna be writing that, I was following my, and, trying to solve a murder mystery. Not really. Trying to figure out what would happen. But it's all gonna be scribbles, so,
Okay.
because I do not know how to write.
In barely legible common, you say that you were just following the other guys and that you guys were solving a murder. Okay, so we'll put you over here. Anybody else got an idea what they're gonna write?
Clanran says you should have just taken a shit and written down your statement in that.
That's a very Clanran thing to say.
You have to witness that.
And smell it. Yes.
Oh,
What does a Goliath's shit smell like? Especially one that eats rotten fish and bear.
I didn't eat the rotten fish, I threw it at the bear.
Cinnamon
Still have my
rolls.
doubts.
How big is this scroll?
Enough that you can get like a few paragraphs onto it.
Meanwhile, Rillo, 2 sentences.
Calyx's gonna use this like a fucking high school memory aid.
Yeah, that's,
right?
that's exactly. I'm gonna write as small as I can, and I'm just literally writing to the best of my knowledge. Well, I do have keen mind, so I can recall, and it's like a lot. I'm gonna go through the important names of people we have run into, so that they can cross-reference what we've been doing.
Okay. You try and include a lot of names.
A lot of names. Every city we've gone to, including Aris Ren, to Seba, speaking with Bar Jarger, and I'll try to go in. I know I don't have a lot of space, but our dealings with Bar Jarger and the hunt for what the fuck's his name?
June.
June.
Do you mention anything about the amulets?
I will. I don't think I would mention the amulet, but I would mention that great souls like us are being hunted down, and so this need for secrecy and being conduct things on our own has been imperative because we're being hunted.
Okay. So you go ahead and write that down. And are there any
Margins, double-sided, single-spaced.
Are there any names that you leave out? Or do you just put it all in there?
I wouldn't include Gem, probably.
I wouldn't include Gem. I wouldn't include Crazy Jack.
Okay.
Damn lizard people!
Can I think about it for a second? I'm gonna look at my notes real quick.
Tidge, Annabelle, any ideas?
If Kalik runs out of room on his scroll, I would hand him mine.
Okay, perfect.
Oh, he gets a second page. Oh, shit!
And it was at that age I learned how to tie my shoes. Now, that wasn't as easy as I thought it would be. It was the summer of 22, and... How about you, Tidge?
So I'd start out that I was on a quest for my diminishing patron here, the librarian, I mentioned that I discovered that, or that we discovered that Ajun had pretty much destroyed all traces of him left in the world. That he has something to do with this ritual, and I'd go into pretty extensive detail on what I've read in the study, like the how it ties into what Defender-1 told us, that they want to turn the world into zombies, or undead rather, and that Chow was connected to Ajun, that he hunted down predecessor of mine, essentially set him on fire.
I would mention Murkoff Runefame and his connection with Mr. Chow.
Okay.
And
Sorry, who the fuck is Murkoff Runefang?
He's the other librarian guy that I talked to in the
Oh, right. Okay, when I was ill. That's why I don't know.
Okay.
But at the bottom of the page. No,
No.
I guess that's
Now, if you got more, let me know. It'll determine if you guys are here forever or not.
I would mention the Winter Lich.
Okay. So that's about it then, eh?
for me, I think so.
Okay. With your combined accounts, I would like a luck roll, please, to see how it is that the Inquisition looks upon you.
Of course it's you. This is...
I'm gonna kill you.
No! Oh! Better than the 3. Hey, above average. 5% above average.
No, that's exactly average.
I thought like a good 10 was average.
Well, it's an even-sided die.
Well, don't start using math.
Like, so the guy who doesn't know how to preheat his oven.
I mean, I know how. I just, fuck the system.
Down with the man. Okay.
Rage against the machine.
You guys hand in these scrolls here, placing them through the slot in the door, and after that, some time passes and some time passes, and a few hours go by, and it looks like there's no contact. Do you guys just sit and wait and get a long rest?
Sure, yeah.
Yes.
I'm gonna need my channel divinity for everything I got here.
Okay. You guys lay down then for the evening and see about getting a rest here. And no magical effects that you try to summon will function, just to let you know. And when you guys turn in for the night, you wake up the next day and find that your condition has changed. So, does anyone have an injury?
No.
No.
I think we all are injury-free now.
Alright. When you guys wake the next day, your clothing has all been changed to what looks to be like a similar jumpsuit. Aurelio's is comically tight on his body, by the way. With the sleeves not going very much past his forearms.
Rip them off.
Yeah.
Rip them off!
Yeah, sleeves are bullshit.
And
You can break me.
it looks like all of your gear is missing as well, like your jewelry and things like that. It's all been changed, and you're just, you just have your jumpsuits on. There's also a piece of paper that's near by the door, and it's another one of those little folded up pieces.
Once again, I'll walk over and...
Wait.
I'd probably be sitting by the door, to be honest, so...
Sure.
Wait, my jewelry is missing?
Yes.
Calyx necklace is gone.
Okay.
I'm tilted.
Seriously tilted.
I'm tilted.
I'm tilted. Oh my God.
Okay, you wake up the next day and find this predicament here. What do you guys do?
Reach over and grab the note.
Okay.
Read it.
The note says, at present time, your prison sentence stands at 104 days.
What? It was 45 plus 5.
And you guys can see the charges that are underneath and how they add up, similar to a receipt. And you can see, like 20 days for improper use of this spell, 7 days for improper use of this, 5 for damage to this property, blah, blah, blah. It goes on.
What a slut receipt. I don't like it.
You see, like, obstruction of justice, like, a whole bunch of stuff that's been put down.
Wunderbar. A June will take over the world. Well, not a June. The Winter Lich. Their fucking funeral. God damn it. So, what's the news, Kalik?
Not good. I'll, from my seated position by the door, I'll make a paper airplane with that little scroll that I just read, and I'll toss it over to him so he can read it.
Sure. You catch the thing. The slide opens behind you, Kalik, as something else comes through the door. And you just hear, you hear a tray being pushed forward, and you see, like, a bunch of food that's pushed onto the bottom of the door here, and, like, a bunch of food trays are slid in.
On a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being the food we were served at Edgar's place. How good is this?
The answer is not 10. I'd give it like a strong 2.
Begrudgingly, I'll get up and like set each tray beside each person.
I'll eat. I know you gotta keep your strength up for these things, so.
Okay.
Seeing Edgar eat, I will as well.
I don't eat.
There's truth serum in these. Oh.
You're not eating, Tidge?
Shit.
No.
Okay. You guys
Super
grab your food,
demoralized.
but Tidge does
Brain
not.
Brain Bros, I'll probably not eat too.
Okay.
Because I think Tidge is smart.
Till he dies from starvation.
Okay. I would like another luck roll from your group, please, as you spend another day sitting around in prison.
Me. Yeah. Me. Yeah.
No, no, you had to go over my section.
Ooh.
Give us 3 years.
Oh, that's funny.
You guys have 5 seconds to live.
Okay. During the course of the next little while, you guys are left here in this prison cell, and days and days and days go by, and every now and then, mercifully, you guys are given the option to travel into a pocket dimension of the Inquisition's own design, and it's like a small little forested area with like a gigantic and imposing looking like razor wire type fence that goes around it. And you guys are allowed to walk around in what feels like nature, at least. And then days and days go by, and then days and days go by. Are you guys doing anything during this period, or are you just going to serve your sentence?
Damn, there isn't even like a question period? This is fucked.
None of that happens.
Okay, well, I mean...
As more days go by, I'd probably be getting more and more frustrated, kind of agitated.
Sure.
I'd be praying to Metri every day for guidance, just to see, I mean, I know he can't bust me out of prison, but just to see if I did the right thing.
Okay.
I do nothing.
I'd suppose I would try to... I don't know, I'd break at some point, just being so frustrated, and I'd try to cast Sending. And it would probably not work, and I'd just try casting sending in like multiple spots if I'm moving around, or if I'm like out in that little field area.
Sure. In the field, your magic does not work either. It's a strange thing, and you guys are very like attention starved in a lot of ways from going from this cell to this same field over and over. But such is life in the dungeon, and days go by and days go by. Sometimes your sentence increases in time, and other times it decreases. And the hardest days are the ones where you spend maybe a few days and watch as those are taken off of your time, and then 5 are lumped on for some other charge that seems bogus. And there are times where it feels like you're going to be in here forever. But eventually, you guys do get out. What's that, Edgar?
I mean, I would have tried to show Kalik, not that I'm a yogi or anything, but like, I like to think that I would have learned some form of meditation and breathing during my martial upbringing and training. So try to like calm his nerves and make him not go psycho. I would try to teach him that. It's probably the only thing keeping me sane right now.
Sure. Do you embrace your inner Hindu there, Kalik, or do you not take this up with Edgar?
At first, I probably wouldn't try. I would maybe go along just to kind of appease him, but I would just be pretty much praying to Arix for clarity. But I would still be really frustrated, feeling like I made the wrong decision.
Okay. The magical barriers put up seem to be incredibly thorough, and your prayers, which are many, made over the course of multiple days, reach nothing. There are no bits of conversation that you're able to get, or any little faint bits of guidance from your gods. Everything seems to be cut off. Though, eventually your time does finish. And let's see here. Oblivion style, I need everyone to make a Constitution saving throw to see if they are damaged at all by wasting away in jail for so long.
Oh fuck, that didn't even work.
3 plus
Ooh,
probably
my
like
con.
1.
Does everyone get the +3 from my aura? Since
Sure.
I would be so close to them.
That would be a 7 then total.
Okay. Anybody get less than 10?
Mine's a 16.
Okay. So Tidge, you take it the hardest, and
21.
your maximum HP is reduced by... Okay, well, I rolled a 1 on that die, so your maximum HP drops by 1.
Was that an injury or permanent?
That's permanent.
Oh.
There is eventually a day where you guys are allowed out, and it comes to you in the form of a letter saying that when you guys all pass out, on the next day you will be released. And it also lists at the bottom that certain items from your group have been taken or confiscated. It looks like the puzzle box has been taken, and the reason there is it's listed as being involved in confiscated for another ongoing case, and the mask has been taken as well, as it is too dangerous to be in your group's hands.
Oh,
Thank
damn.
God.
The rest of your
Dangerous.
group's gear has been left there, and all of your coin and stuff like that, it's all there, including, curiously, your necklaces and things like that. Though you imagine they were probably thorough in rifling through your stuff. There's no explanation as to follow-up on the case with Mr. Chow. It just mentions that the Inquisition is taking care of things, and that you guys have been absolved of your crime. When you are kicked out and ejected into like a portion of the the street that's just outside of the tower there. You guys are all tired and get to actually kind of like move around and see the city life and whatnot after spending a long time in there. And there's also like a little bit of a record on the paper there that says that you guys spent 125 days inside of the prison.
Damn.
So the current time is... You are told that it is...
Oh my god.
the 26th of spring.
Okay, so how many days do we have left until this eclipse now?
Let's see. I think you have just under 2 years? Question mark?
Oh, okay.
If I'm not mistaken.
No more days in jail,
It's
guys.
100th day of winter. It was currently 202. So is it now 203? Year 203?
Yes.
Okay. And it happens on the 100th day of winter, 204.
So you guys have just lost about 10% of the time that you have.
Did we keep this teleportation scroll?
Everything is there.
Okay.
But my mask.
But the mask and
Wow.
the puzzle box.
And the sofa.
And my fucking bed.
The bed that was in there, yes, has not been... You guys have not been ejected into the streets with a June's bed.
I thought it was Chow's bed.
Or sorry, Chow's bed. So, you guys
I've
emerge.
taken a June's bed too. His was pretty comfy.
Mattress stealer.
Does that thing say what happened to Defender-1?
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Oh.
Did the thieving bastard take him as well?
He has been taken along with the box.
Yep. I was hoping one day I'd get the time to try to learn his inner workings and try to repair him. I don't think I'll ever get that chance now.
I have to say, it's not been my experience with the authorities in the past. I'm pretty thoroughly disappointed in their lack of willingness to work with us.
We just get out of Soulsland.
Yeah, my dad would have been notified. Even if we can't get out at this point.
At this point, I mean, I'll cast fly on it. Like, fuck, it only does one of us.
You just leave.
Fuck.
You just
Fucking just later.
Woo!
It's just.
I want to see. I'm gonna snap my finger and see if my owl pops up on my shoulder,
It
or if
does.
that's been okay. Then I'll whisk it away, just making sure it
Okay.
wasn't destroyed again.
Now, as you guys are standing here in the streets, somebody approaches you, and you see it's like a little paper boy, and he's like, "Silver piece for today's paper."
Go through my pockets, and I'll hand him a silver piece.
He hands you the paper and then says, "Thank you, sir," and turns away and goes off down the street.
I'll flip it open, frustrated, and I'll let other people read it too.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't have a silver piece, so I would have just given him a gold piece.
Well, I
What?
did.
No,
I
I
had a
would've-
silver.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Don't be crazy.
You make a little boy rich.
Are you gonna do it there, Edgar, or you want me to get out of mine?
I could give it on him.
Okay. The paper seems to have a couple of stories in it that are, pertain to the local town and news at large and things like that, but nothing really big. You do, however, notice one thing peculiar, and it's an image that's in here in the paper that actually kind of catches your eye, like an artist's sketch of something that looks very familiar, and you realize that it's Edgar's family estate.
Fuck. I'll pass the paper to him.
Okay.
What now?
It looks in a minor piece, not on the front page or anything like that, but there are town rumors going by that your father has apparently lost his marbles, and that the Lyle house is said to have fallen into some degree of ruin, and insanity has taken its chief actor, and that authorities are currently looking into it.
Well, I hate to say it, but this could be a lead.
You also see some other little news, like the Windray having left Skyfall a while back and is now traveling across the storm walls, and it looks like commerce in the town is doing okay for the time being. What do you guys want to do?
Any news about Inenbar? Or what was it? Was it Inenbar that got attacked?
Oh, there is no news of Inenbar in the paper.
Well, what about its closer? Anything mentioning Kazatov? Because there's been a lot of other groups.
There is no mention of Kazatov in the paper.
Well, I would just be looking so disappointed at this point that they didn't even want to ask us for help afterwards.
And I would say that you would know that that's out of the ordinary. Like the order isn't normally like that, so something is definitely afoot within the order.
While we're sitting there thinking, I'd be flipping through my tarot cards. Feels good to have them again, and then I'll kind of think to myself, and I'll cast Augury.
Sure.
For we go to Edgar's the Lyle estate.
Okay. When you look at that, the reading tells you that there is woe if you are to travel to Edgar's estate.
I'll show the card to Edgar and just tuck it back into the deck. I don't think we should go.
I mean, I'm sorry, but following your cards isn't exactly going to... Sorry, it's gonna come off a bit harsh. Let me rephrase that. Woe could mean anything. I mean, the death of my father, as deranged as he might have become, would be woeful. It would be sad. It wouldn't be ideal, but woe doesn't necessarily mean our downfall. Look, I just think that having an estate with revenue attached to it, a position of power, some kind of retinue in place, will help us. If we can manage to arrange travel, get a Tabaxi scout, and look into this labyrinth forest with the proper resources, we might be able to get somewhere with Chow. Or we abandon that entirely, but either way, we're broke, disheveled, broken to a certain extent, all the leads we've had have been taken by reckless idiots that have not even bothered to ask us a single question. At this point, we have to fend for ourselves more than ever. And I think the only way to do that is going to be with some kind of resources and backing. Father
Titch,
has... Sorry, go ahead.
when we get some time, we've lost our greatest asset. Our greatest ass, well. Greatest asset.
We'll never see an ass like that again.
Defender Dash 1, the boot.
That study. I think we need to collaborate and write as much down as we can now that we have our things. About small details, because I don't think we're ever gonna stumble upon something like that again.
I'll just. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say. I was just gonna nod. Like for what it's worth. While we were in prison, I would have just been like basically silent the whole time. Like I may have said a couple words here and there, but I would have just kind of like kept to the corner and mostly to myself.
Sure.
If I could make another suggestion. I get where you're coming from, Edgar. And I agree that probably should do something about trying to remember what we found in the fucking puzzle box, but look, way back, seems like ages ago at this point, I made a promise to this guy here. I'm gonna point to Arillo. For his protection, I told him I'd help him find his temples that he's searching for. And I haven't done shit except for get him killed and get him arrested. So, I'd like to just do something sort of easy. And just maybe, and it may not be easy, but it's like straightforward. I'd like to just go north. See if we can find this thing. I don't know.
The moment that Tidge does this, there's like a distant roll of thunder that you hear, and like the sky seems to grow overcast, and you can see like rain coming in slowly.
Besides, I'll point to the paper. It says that your house is already under investigation. We can't get involved with the Inquisition.
If the Inquisition tries to stop Belial from taking over his own house, I will take out my sword and answer to Mentry. That's not something they'll ever get in between me and my father for, and if they do, it's not going to go well for them this time around.
We can't afford to lose more time. Like we just did.
I agree.
Heavy sheets of rain start to just like pour down in the muddy streets.
Look, let's do whatever.
And here I thought it couldn't get any worse.
Let's just get a move on, guys. I want to get out of here.
Perhaps at the lowest point, released from prison into a torrential rainfall, where are you guys going?
As they all walk away, I'd stay there for just a moment, and I'd flip through my cards again, and I'll cast Augury. We go north to seek out this temple.
I'm gonna look to the sky and see if it's Dysonin speaking to me.
You don't see any gods speaking to you, but terrible weather does seem to be abound. And let's see. Okay, I need to make a roll real quick. Okay. You see that it says wheel and woe if you are to travel north.
I'll take that as a bit of good news. and I'll follow the group.
Okay.
Cards are bullshit.
Kalik, you catch up to the group, and you guys go walking down the street, and, well, I would say probably find cover underneath, like, an awning outside of a house. Do you guys have a direction that you're going for? Is it ships up to the north, or the long road out of Soulsland? Is it flying away into the storm cloud to get hit by lightning?
At this point, I'm walking with the group, but I'm just trying to hear Metri in any way I can, because I really need to hear from him right now.
Sure.
I'll just slowly kind of catch up to Tidge, and just walking parallel to him. I'll over my shoulder, just still looking forward, just say, I agree. I don't think we've given Arillo his fair share of attention, or I think we've been taking him for granted. I think we should go north.
I'm just like holding the symbol of librarian like between my thumb and index finger, just kind of twisting it back and forth.
Sure.
A little bit, staring kind of just straight ahead. Glad you're on my side.
We're all on the same side.
Surprised that I don't know what's kept him around so long. Honestly.
Your bets. I don't understand either.
Arillo just like holds his hand out in the rain. This isn't the Kmart.
I think he lost a couple brain cells when we brought him back. He didn't have very many to begin with.
It's a dangerous
I'm a little
game.
concerned.
I'll crack a smile. Like the slightest. I'm still pretty demoralized from the whole thing. But I don't know. I just feel
Thank you for looking into my temple.
you gotta find the thing. Do you have any like sister tribes or anything like that? I don't know.
Arillo, I would say that you would know of other tribes in that mountain range. Like your neighbors and everything, but probably not further off than that.
Okay. I don't really know all of that much of the sister tribes in those mountains. I know that they are there, but
We know that it's just up in one of these islands, not exactly where. Or does he know which island it is?
I would say that you know that it is this island.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that you know you're traveling to Winter's Heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that would make sense.
I thought so. I just wanted to be sure. I don't think I'd feel right leaving here without maybe we have to at least let Edgar swing by. Maybe not let him. Look, the whole reason I came on this journey was because my father was sick. So
I suppose his is sick as well.
He's risked enough for me. It's the absolute least that we can do. As much as I want to get out of this godforsaken town.
Well, come on, Tej, didn't you enjoy our time in jail?
No.
Just kind of glare at Annie.
Even jail don't kill that sarcasm.
Some of us are stronger than others. Edgar, let's go by your estate.
I don't think it's just gonna be a quick conversation there, Titch.
You were there for me. Look, you you guys brought me back to life. I pretty much owe you everything. You've followed me around the map all over the place, and I know we've done a lot of this has been combined interest, but I don't know. We gotta, let's go. It's fine. I'm on board for whatever anybody wants to do. I want to leave, but I still want you to be a part of this group. There's stock in what you're saying. I wouldn't want to leave my family out in the cold. God knows how many questions are circling around in your mind right now.
Well, the main one is, am I gonna have to strike him down? Metri seems to think that that's what it's gonna come down to. Not exactly a position a son should be in, but here I am. Look, Murillo, and I'll just kind of look him square in the face. I promise you, as well, I swear on my very oath, that we can go to your temple as soon as this is taken care of. Whatever the hell he's doing needs to be put to a stop. There are good men in that place, and there's no way his madness could have corrupted them all. If we can get enough of them on our side, hopefully we can just imprison the man and be done with it. But with the backing of Lyle House, as well disheveled as it might be at this point, we might have some capital in place to be able to not just travel north, but travel east.
Alright.
Okay, is that where you guys are headed?
I'll summon my steed.
Okay. It's a couple of hours of dismal travel through the heavy rain before you eventually emerge outside of the town and through all the wilderness, eventually getting up to Edgar's estate. The Lyle House stands there amidst the pile of muddy pools and matted down grass in the gray of these heavy sheets that pour from the sky. And you can see that there are lights on in the place. It's not like, fire and brimstone, broken walls or anything like that. The place looks more or less the same, but you do see that there appears to be like a small patrol of people kind of about the place, and they don't look like your servants, like members of the estate. There's a rider who comes out to greet you all, and he clearly wears the symbols of the Inquisition as he does so. When he gets up to your group, he holds out his hand in like a halt gesture. He says, "Whoa there, travelers. State your business."
Oh. Edgar, with just the vilest look, is gonna look at this guy. This is my estate as much as his, and you'll let me through.
He pauses for a second. He says, "Sorry, I didn't see. It's not exactly good weather out. You must be Edgar."
I haven't had good run-ins with your kind as of late, so just let me through.
Nobody's getting in or out of the estate for now. Your father's not well.
Yeah, and who do you think can right him? You think it's gonna be you patrolling these walls?
Well, as it is, he's under the effects of some magic that we're trying to undo.
Bring me whoever's in charge of this godforsaken lockdown. Bring me to him.
He gives you a dismal-looking look there, and you can tell that you've clearly not gotten onto this man's good side as he nods and turns and rides off.
Yeah, Edgar does not give a...
Now, eventually, you see like a couple more riders come out. This same guy is there, but there's a few with him. And there's an older chap who kind of rides in the front there, and he has clearly some different medals on his breast and whatnot. And he calls to you and he says, Edgar?
I just lock eyes with him.
You've gotten out of prison recently, have you not?
That's right.
I'd suggest you not do anything rash. We're taking care of your father as it is.
Well, it's my experience that you guys can't handle shit. And I think that a Lyle should be taking care of the Lyles.
Yes, well, improper use of magic is our business, and that seems to be what your father has gotten into. The man's raving mad, as it is. We're hoping to break the insanity. During your prison sentence, it seems that he's committed a few vile acts. At least, that's how the investigation looks at the moment.
You can see, like, Edgar would bring his hand up to his brow and it'd just be shaking. He's just doing everything he can to contain his anger right now.
The man would look over at the rest of you guys, and he would probably say to whoever's closest, and just be turning to you and say, you'll want to help your friend here. This is obviously not good news, but it won't do you any good to try and get into the house. As it is, your father is stable at the very least.
Don't you suppose seeing his son might help the cause of insanity?
We're worried about the exact opposite happening, actually. It's complicated, but we believe that he might be the source of his father's madness. Things will be pushed over to the brim if he's to see him.
And who's to care for the Lyle estate?
Well, as it is right now, it'll just be frozen. Most of the servants have been evacuated in light of the terrible magics, and, well, they're safe. Only a couple casualties have been reported. We're still investigating if those were at the hands of the master or not.
I'm sorry, but the Inquisition's arrogance just has no boundaries whatsoever. You handle this with a delicate hand, keeping his son outside of the estate. And then we have something where even I, as his son, and heir to this estate, and brother to the man who was killed down this road just a few months ago, I would even say that the scale of the event that we were investigating earlier is at least 100 times this.
As you're raising your voice, the old man holds up his hand towards you, and he says, Edgar, can we speak alone for a moment? Ride with me.
I'll look at him for like a good 5 seconds, just...
He gives you like a very sympathetic look.
Yeah, I'm not really echoing that. I'll kick on my my steed here.
Okay.
And just go off.
You guys ride far away enough that there's no way that anyone could hear your conversation through the rain and everything. And he pulls up his horse to yours and he says, We'll stop here. Edgar, I read about your case. It was ugly, and things shouldn't have been handled the way that they were. But as it is, the Inquisition doesn't want you to know exactly what it is that they're working on. The information that they recovered, especially in the few items that were taken, is going to keep them busy. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I'm just shaking my head. I understand full well. But keeping us out of the equation, let alone in the dark, let alone in those conditions, with the...
I know. There was a precedent set before you arrived, though. They've had dealings with, well, one of the other groups of the Great Souls. The tower's
And-
not blind to
And
what's
is
happening.
the law to be just applied as a thick blanket to everyone in sight? Is there no consideration for the facts? I mean, I've heard the reputation of the Inquisition, and you seem the complete opposite of those men, which is fine. I understand your point of view. In fact, you even seem to have the consideration of my estate, my well-being, and my father's at heart, which, quite frankly, I appreciate despite my tone. Yet still, how can I trust you to take care of this situation when you're belonging to the same organization that fumbled something so much more important?
There were complications. One of the members of the investigation was a wizard from the tower, after all. Things had to be handled differently, and somebody had to pay. It's just how it is.
That's bullshit.
I'm aware. You're all still alive, though.
Oh, is that what we should be thankful for? Look, I'm... When can I get in? What's your timeline? How long have you been here?
Well, this happened a few days back. Well, at least when we heard about it. Who knows how long your father's been at this business. I'm not certain if you want to tell your companions, but we know he's used some sort of necromancy to try and create a progeny or something like that, and in the process has invited demons into his mind. There's no easy way to put it, but simple efforts to remove the things from him, protection from good and evil, they're having no effect.
Look, I'm aware of not quite the necromancy, but Metri already told me that every chain, every link, every opportunity the man has had to keep his word has failed, and he shirked Metri at every turn. There's no redemption whatsoever in him. And if I need to strike him down, I will. It's not often that Metri tells a paladin of redemption to do so. So I take his words very carefully and I consider them. I considered them for a long while. If you need me to go in there, I will.
You won't find your father, not in his current state. He's been taken over. If you think that this is necessary, well, at the end of the day, it's my call, but I'll allow you to travel in there with your companions. You'll have to kill him, though. It's the only way.
Look, it's not something that I want to do, but when Metri tells you there's no saving the man, and seeing what I've seen, hearing him have no compassion or consideration for me or my companions when we came around last time, the man just exercises his power and his wealth to get short-term goals, and he doesn't even know what those are.
The old man here nods and he says, well, I'll write down that there was no other way, and that we had to end it, and that was irreversible. If you want to be the one to do the deed, that's fine.
Can I ask you something in your professional opinion? This madness, how long has it been set in for?
It's tough to tell. We got the report a few days ago, but it could have been quite some time.
Guess.
If I had to
How
guess,
long?
it was likely during your time at prison. I know that he made a request for you, but the Inquisition denied it, given the circumstances. It's my assumption that that may have had something to do with it, though who knows with the man.
So you're telling me that the man I met months before my incarceration, who was quite frankly mad when I arrived, has just gotten worse. So if he hasn't been affected by anything otherworldly or invasive when I met him then, that's the only thing I want to make sure of. Sorry if my point isn't clear, but if this illness has been set in for potentially over a year, then I'll proceed differently, despite what Metri says. But if you're telling me it's short term, then
It's only exacerbating something I was already aware of.
Demonic possession is tricky. There's no way to know. It could have been years ago that it first took hold, or maybe a demon he invited into his house recently. There was a great deal of secrecy with it, but whatever the case, it's taken a severe hold of him now.
Can you come up with some accommodations for my group for the evening? Because we need to get out of this rain.
The barracks of your estate is currently free. We have men who can guard the outside if you want to spend the night there.
Yeah, I'd like that.
Okay.
I'll just ride back to the group.
He opens his mouth like he's going to say something and then doesn't and just kind of rides off. And meanwhile, the rest of you guys are just standing there in the rain, just like it's just pouring down on you. And one of the riders there looks over and takes a bite of an apple and he goes, you want some?
I flick him right the fuck off.
Woo! Shit.
Alright.
Silent.
He just keeps chewing away there, and in the sound of the rain and the apple being noshed, eventually the horse hooves come back, and you see Edgar return with the old man. And he saddles up next to the other men, and he says, they're coming in. And one of them looks over perplexed, and he says, I don't want to hear anything. Take them to the barracks.
I shoot the guy who's about to say something like the fucking dirtiest look ever. Like, shut your fucking mouth.
Is it the apple guy?
No, he's just enjoying the rain. He's in apple bliss.
And with a softer face, I'll kind of look to the rest of the group and, like, nod my head to the direction of the barracks.
Okay.
We'll just keep following you, riding on your horse while we're on foot.
Slopping around in the mud, you guys follow along, and eventually get up right into the past the
Being
main
a paladin
gates there.
pays.
And you can see that there's a few different agents here and there. You know, there's maybe about a dozen in different spots throughout the estate, and they're all kind of patrolling different areas. And you guys are led up to the barracks, and it's more or less how you had left it. It looks like nobody's cleaned here in a while. You can tell when servants haven't been in a room for a long time. But other than that, everything's kind of where it's left, and there's a bunch of very utilitarian beds and, you know, basic martial gear and trunks and stuff like that. And there's nobody else in here. It's just your own private area. The old man gives you a nod at the door, and he points to a post nearby where you can put your horse if you want, and then just kind of rides away.
I'll just kind of will it away.
Sure. You guys are now in the barracks of the Lyle Estate. What do you want to do?
I'll just take a seat on one of the beds.
Are there Inquisition guards outside?
There are some outside, but there's nobody in the room.
Are they like right outside the door?
Yeah, I'd say so. There's probably one posted right out there.
So is it to be imprisonment again? The fuck is he out there?
No, that's an option.
Why the fuck would you choose it?
Well, when there are demons on site, I figured it was the prudent thing to do.
Sure, trust the fuckwit who locked us up for 3 months.
I don't. Trust me, I gave the man a fucking earful.
Sorry, just so fucking tired.
Look, throughout my entire life, and I admit I've had a privileged one, I've always been able to rely on a thing, which was the law, for people who told the truth, were doing the right thing. Now, intent versus result isn't quite the same. If we intended to do something and accidentally murdered someone, I'd understand. But now I hear that our entire incarceration not only was abnormal, and we should have gotten at least the opportunity to present our case, but it was just a political shit show in there. So they're just completely inept, and yeah, I'm just sorry we had to go through all of that.
It's not your fault.
No, but I had a certain faith in the system, and let's just say I don't have it now. Either way, if there's such thing as a good Inquisitor, which burns my mouth just to say it. The old man might have something going on there, so he's given us the opportunity to go in, which is the complete opposite of what he originally said, thankfully, and he's filled me in on the situation, so I wanted us to sit down and talk about it before I proceeded.
Well, what is the situation?
Dad seems to be possessed. And, the old man says it could have been years, could have been months, it could have been days, but his insanity... I mean, the man has always been stern, been hard, heir-obsessed. I mean, a noble through and through. Keeping the Lyle house intact and moving forward has always been his main goal. So when we last spoke, after my brother's passing, I just took it as his breaking point, if you will. The consideration, however, is this. Metrius told me there's no redemption for the man. Told me every chain, every link, it's been broken, and there's no second, third, or fifth chances for him. So our options are this: we can either strike him down, liberate his soul, whatever's left of it, and free demons from it, or we look into the source of the possession and see if there's redemption, despite what Metri says. Those are our two options.
I'll just be leaning against the wall, just flipping through my cards.
Option 3 is we walk away and let the Inquisition handle it, and considering how fucking inept they've been so far, I'm not inclined to choose option 3.
I'd be the first to tell you that I have no real familiarity with Metri other than what I've learned through traveling with you. So, but I'll not choose the fate of your father, but I will stand by whatever you choose. I know it's a tough thing to lay on someone, especially a son, but...
You guys hear what sounds like a loud strike of lightning off in the distance, and for a brief moment there's a flash of light that comes through the windows. The rain seems to get worse and winds seem to pick up. Some of the windows rattle.
Gorilla, is this the work of your god?
I'm not entirely sure, but I believe it is.
Kinda like how he sounds when he's pissed off.
Yes.
There is a brief shimmer that comes from your tote bag once again there, Tidge.
Ooh, the Amazon delivery. It's like having a Prime subscription.
I'll open it up, see what is produced.
You see something there. It's not a scroll that's been given to you, but just a small note on a piece of paper. Written at the top of one of the pages here, it says, "You will need your pen. There is a great demon afoot. You are not safe here."
Can I, I'll pull out the pen, and, I'll just write with it. How do I use it? I guess I didn't have to write in an accent.
You write the words so as to put accent into them.
Yes.
As you write that down, there's a brief moment and you see like a shimmer as writing comes back on the book, like you're having a conversation with the librarian there. And the writing is like faint and scribbly, and you can tell his power must be weak. But he says, "Wait, have you never used it?"
Only once to gain access to a temple.
You just see ellipses that appear underneath that.
And then they go away. And then they come back and then they go away.
Yeah. The librarian is writing. And then it just stops. Then he's writing it, then it stops. after a bit, there's writing that comes back, and it just says, "Damn it, Tidge."
I'll just write. I'm sorry. I'll figure it out. Rest.
Okay.
I've got this.
You close the book there, and you feel a sense of relief almost as you do. Like the act of writing in it is almost straining in some sort of weird way.
Kalik, could I ask you a question that I probably should have asked a very long time ago?
Can you use that pearl?
I'm still flipping through the cards, just not even phased.
You're just pulling woe after woe after...
yeah, pretty much, yeah. I'm just, like, not comfortable at all.
Would you mind identifying this for me? And I'll hold out the pen.
Tidge hands you the pen he's had for, like, basically forever.
Isn't this just a pen?
Apparently it's so much more than just a key to one temple.
Like,
Sword. It's a sword.
I'm still...
You don't have to do it if you don't want to, but I'm just...
Nice.
I'm
sure
just
would appreciate
so
it.
impatient at at this time, like so frustrated that I don't have the patience to ritual cast it.
Okay.
I don't know, like being cooped up without being able to cast magic for so long, like I just cast it.
Sure. It feels good to, exercise that bit of you which has been caged up for so long. And when you cast it, your eyes kind of widen for a sec. And you know that this is an item which has to be attuned to a follower of the librarian, which makes sense. But you also know that when swung out with a purpose, it becomes a radiant blade. Kalik starts making weird noises.
I'll hold the pen and I'll like whisk it out like a sword, like unsheathing it.
Nothing
I'll
happens.
hold it up in the air. No. I'll just start swinging it, kind of like imitating, trying to imitate Edgar.
Be careful with that, please.
Poor
I'll do a
form.
flourish. I'll do a flourish.
Poor form, Kalik. Come on.
I'm just
I'll try to
sweating
jump
bullets.
off the wall and thrust.
Oh God.
I'll try to parry.
Edgar would
Just-
be like heartily chuckling for the first time since his time out of prison.
Whatever Kalik has seen casting this spell on your pen has driven him mad, Tidge. He's like a man possessed jumping around the room.
I use my mage hand to grab it and take it back.
I use my mage hand to wrestle his mage hand. So I'm holding the pen in one hand, and I'm holding my other hand out to cast my mage hand to try to like cock block him away.
Okay.
It's a fucking sword, Tidge, and I'll hold it out.
I take it back immediately. Why was he so... When the fuck have I ever used anything in melee before? Try and stay as far away from the fight as possible.
I'll
So
I'll
Annie,
perch
have
down
you
on my
heard about?
I'm just like
so
rambling
I'm
to
the
myself
same
for the
height.
most part.
As luck would have it, you have an instructor right there, and I'll point to Edgar.
And I point to Annie.
The ability to use the damn thing doesn't make it any more useful to me. I mean, yeah, it's great and it's amazing, but like, I'll still one swing and down I go.
It has to be
So
used by you.
convince
But I mean-
Annie that the librarian is the greatest thing to ever happen, and submit it to
No,
her.
I grip the pen even tighter.
I laugh a little bit.
Tidge. It can only be wielded by you. And it becomes a radiant
Which-
sword.
That has become literally true now that you're like the last member of the order.
You're like
Table
an emo
talk.
kid on MySpace in like 2014.
I.e., you have more power than anyone could possibly fathom.
And it's like when you go into your profile, it's My Chemical Romance that plays immediately with your
Weird gifs all
soundtrack.
over the place and sparkles and
Oh
shit.
yeah, 100%. You're a unicorn. Well, that's certainly gonna help.
I'm just looking at it. I guess I'll I mean, I'll extend it and hope it's like 20 feet long.
Do you flail it out in front of you?
Yeah, you know, like out of. Yeah, I guess I have no idea what I'm doing with a sword anyway. So yeah.
Yeah, just make for me like a straight either strength or dex roll, your choice.
Definitely Dex.
Ah man.
That is it's 17.
Nice.
You just kind of like flail the thing forward, but you know you've seen your companions in combat, so you're able to pull off like a decent swing with the thing. And as you do, maybe like for the first foot there's nothing, and then you hear a sudden crackle, and what looks like a beam of light appears at the end here, and the whole thing seems to take on the aspect of like a short sword in front of you, and you actually cut straight through one of the bedposts of like the barracks beds here with it, and it just lops the top of it, which falls off like just a wooden block down to the ground, and the top of the post is like seared with like a sizzling coming off of it.
Blame it on the Inquisition.
I quickly pick up the bedpost thing and fumbling around, I cast Mending.
Just start reattaching
Just like looking
it.
back and forth. I'm looking at the door, making sure the guy isn't peeking in.
I'd be like trying to like low-key intimidate Kalik by giving him like a stern look, like why are you breaking my shit?
I like spin around and cut another bedpost on accident because I have like no idea what I'm doing. Like, wait, who's this?
Your first swing is impressive, but then once you see like the result, you're like, oh god, it like kind of freaks you out, and you cut a couple of other things, and the whole thing it like hums and crackles in your hand here. And during this time, during the commotion, Arillo, you hear something which is like a weird squeaking noise above you.
Oh god damn it.
It's a magic inkwell.
Please. Disappointment. Gonna bring us nothing.
I'll look up.
Okay. When you look up, you see what looks like a small little white mouse
Just say
hanging
it.
from one of the
Just say it.
rafters.
Just say.
And he looks at you, and then he drops like a small little object that comes tumbling down towards you. Do you catch it?
Yes.
The thing lands in your hand. There's a heat to it, and the mouse kind of gives you like a couple of squeaks, and then runs off into a conveniently placed hole up in the ceiling and disappears.
Can I try and kill the mouse before it runs away?
Don't you dare!
No, don't do that. No,
Don't
no,
you dare!
No, no.
You reach for your weapon, but it's already gone.
Gorilla doesn't like mice. So it dropped a warm object into my hand.
Yeah, it almost burns in your hand.
It's a
Oh.
It's like it's quite hot. It's not enough to do damage, but it's like when you pull something out of like the pan right before it's had time to cool down. It's like, oh god, that's it's pretty hot.
Oh, okay. I'll set it down on
Hot.
something that's near me.
Sure. You put the thing down on one of the windowsills nearby and see what looks like an acorn that's been charred, as though it's been burned or perhaps struck by lightning. And we will end the session there.
Oh shit, Dyson is getting pissed.
It's just an emotional roller coaster.
Oh man.
How do I handle this thing?
Gonna print out
Blade lock?
Bartholomew. Huh? Oh no,
Class change?
I'm the worst combat warlock that could exist. Not built for that shit.
It's
27
fate.
HP.
It's fate.
Oh
Oh my
all that.
god, you two have 27 HP.
Yeah.
Put him in the front lines
Darn.
against a greater demon.
Holy shit, I almost have 70.
Ah, that's nice.
Beautiful.
I've been
I
cucked
am
real
one
bad
off
on
from
rolls.
70.
Well, in any case, it's been a very, very jam-packed session. A lot of ups, a lot of downs, and all that in between. But you're all still alive and still solving mysteries. The plot has thickened. Maybe you guys have written down some useful notes, or maybe you haven't, and all that'll be for naught. Who knows? We'll see. Either way, congratulations to the players. Pretty good. Audience, thanks for coming by. And patrons, couldn't do it without you. We'll see you tomorrow for the last session of the week and find out what Stupid Shenanigans Thursday group gets up to. It's gonna be an interesting one. Adios.
No. No.
My man. All I can remember is the Rick and Morty of that.
My man.
My man.
I'm gonna burn Bartholomew's character sheet. He's a member of the Inquisition. Fuck that guy.
That'd be pretty funny though if that was the next character and it's just like everyone's like, no, get the fuck out of here.
That's exactly what would happen. Yeah, I'd have a hard
kill
time
him on the spot.
Jesus.
He has 2 hours in the session.
Get the fuck out of here! You leave me somewhere.
Well, you know, guys, I think that we need to follow procedure on that one. Just decapitates you.
He was a dick. So like hard ass. Even worse than Edgar at some points.
It was fate. Well, I'm gonna tell you the stats for your new pen there, as well as some other things. So I'm going to kill stream. Peace out, stream.
I'll use